Okay, good morning, everybody. I call the December 10th, 2024 meeting of the DuPage County Board to order. I invite everyone to stand and join in the Pledge of Allegiance. Member Schwarzy, will you please lead us in the pledge?
Yes, thank you. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God,
indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I now invite Pastor David Elliott from the Lutheran Church of the Master in Carroll Stream to lead us in the invocation.
Indeed, Chair, thank you for having me. It's an honor to be here this morning as I both serve and live in District 6 of this county. Well, please let's take this moment and let us pray. Gracious and holy God, we gather today as stewards of this county, entrusted with the well-being of our community. In this moment we pause to seek your wisdom and guidance. Grant to each member of this board clarity of thought, compassion in decision-making, and a steadfast commitment to justice and equity. Help us to listen to one another and to those who we serve, fostering a spirit of collaboration that honors the diversity and dignity of all. During this busy and holy holiday season, we ask for your blessing upon the people of DuPage County, for those who celebrate joys and those who carry burdens, for the vulnerable, for the thriving, and all who call this place home. May this meeting be a time of fruitful dialogue, rooted in respect and inspired by a shared vision of the common good. With humility and hope, we entrust all this in our work to your care. For in your name we pray. Amen.
Mr. Deputy Clerk, please take the roll.
Member Cahill. Here. Member Childress. Yes. Member Covert.
Here.
Member Desart. Member Desart. Here. Member Eckhoff. Here. Member Evans.
Here.
Member Galassi. Here. Member Garcia. Member Heather. Here. Member Honig.
Here.
Member Krajewski. Member LaPlante. Here. Member Ozog. Here. Member Rutledge. Here. Member Schwarzy. Here. Member Tornatori. Here. Member Yu.
Here.
And Member Zay.
Okay, I'd like to invite Member Schwarzy and Mary Keating, Natasha Belli, and Christine Evans to the podium. Okay, December is a month full of celebration and sugar, as we saw in the break room. So we are happy to celebrate important anniversaries for two community service employees. Human Services Committee Chairman Greg Schwarzy and Mary Keating are here to share some important highlights from the combined 55 years of service provided by Natasha Belli and Christine Evans. Chairman Schwarzy, would you like to start?
Thank you. Speaking on. So one of the things I've noticed being the chair of the Human Services is the length of service of many of our employees in the community services. So it shows that it's a wonderful place to work, that our supervisors are doing a wonderful job, and people are doing it for the right reasons. So to have you both work as long as you have, 25 years is an incredibly long time, and it's 30 years, an incredibly long time. So I am very grateful. I know our board is very grateful, and we hope to have you much longer, and thank you very much for your service. So, Mary.
Thank you. I actually have to refer to some notes for Natasha's length of service. Today is just a giant celebration in the Department of Community Services, and specifically in the Human Services or the Senior Services Division. I think the fact that there's probably 20 Senior Services employees here to help recognize their coworkers really says a lot about the camaraderie within that division. So first up is Natasha Belli. Come on over here. So Natasha is our administrator of senior services. It's difficult to describe the breadth of programming that we have in our senior services division. First, a little bit about Natasha. She started here in 1999 as an information and referral specialist. So she was one of the folks who was on the phone all day, sort of helping seniors navigate the programs that we have internal and external in the county. She later moved into a case management role, and then she moved to the Ombudsman program, which is our program that advocates for and supports residents of long-term care facilities. She moved into a supervisory role in about 2007. And in 2010, Natasha was the Outstanding Ombudsman of the Year for the state of Illinois. So she, she moved up to the administrator role in 2019, and then she had the real privilege of directing the Senior Services Division during the COVID crisis. It's difficult, again, to describe how impacted seniors were and the work of not only the folks within, supporting the case managers and what they were going through, but really as they supported seniors in the community. So Natasha is just a quiet and effective leader. She has built an incredibly strong management team. They work so well together. They're constantly supporting each other, and a lot of that has to do with the type of leader that Natasha is. And I couldn't be more grateful to work with her and more thankful for her 25 years.
Well, thank you. It does not feel like 25 years. I think the only change I feel is now I have glasses and my back hurts. So, but it has gone by so fast. So first I'd like to thank Chair Conroy and the board members here, especially the Human Services Committee board members, because they have truly supported what we do in senior services. But more importantly, I'd really like to thank Mary Keating. She really understands the work that we do, and she is always there to kind of help support and guide and advocate for us no matter what we need, because we really do work with the most vulnerable adults here in DuPage County. And I cannot miss the managers that I have here in senior services and all of the really hard case managers that go out in the field every day to help protect, serve, and advocate for our seniors. So I'm really lucky that I have such a great supportive team to kind of make these 25 years feel like nothing. So, but thank you so much for today. I'm really excited and happy just to be here.
So next up, at 30 years, is Christine Evans. Christine runs our money management program. You'll hear more about that in a few minutes. We're going to have a proclamation celebrating. And I'm going to let Natasha say a few words about Christine.
So it is an exciting day that both Christine and I are here today. So Christine started here at the county in 1994. She actually started within community services, but with the family self-sufficiency program. And then in 96, she was hired by Senior Services as a hospital case manager. And then in 97, she moved into a senior case manager role where she was doing all of the programs. At that time, our unit was really small. So all of our case managers did every service and every program that we had. And then in 1999, when the money management program started, she was doing a combination of case management and money management. And then leading into 2006, actually in 1999 when the money management program started, it was a part-time program. And at that time we were building the program up, and then in 2006 as a case manager coordinator, she took over full-time with the money management program, and then has been doing that full-time since 1999. So Christine's been with the money management program from the beginning, and has really grown that program where we now have about 35 volunteers, 25 that are about active right now, but she's really been out in the community helping those seniors that need help with financial planning and budgeting. So we are really excited to have Christine work on that program for so long, since the beginning. So congratulations. Thank you, Christine.
Thank you so much. I'd also like to thank some of you. I'd like to thank Chair Conroy and the board members who've obviously been part of the job for a very long time. The Human Services Committee members, thank you so much. Mary Keating, who's also been here quite a number of years, so we've worked together as a team for a long time. I'd like to thank Natasha, who's been very supportive of the programming. My manager, Sue Makowski, and all the staff that came today, thank you so much. I would also like to thank my husband, Michael, who's standing over there. So we've been married for 31 years, so obviously the program and my job's been a very large part of our lives for 30 years, including our marriage and our kids who've been raised while I've worked here. And also thanks so much to the volunteers who really make the program what it is. I'm very grateful for the opportunity to have been part of the program, the money management program, and proud of its impact that it's had on the community with all the support of the people mentioned. Thank you so much.
Just one more note as a point of reference on how long you two have worked for DuPage County. One of our board members wasn't even born yet when you guys started, so just wanted to make that point. I'm gonna stand behind you, so am I.
Can I call the comedian in the back aisle back up, please? Back row. You don't trust me? You're going to sit there?
Sorry.
Okay, which makes my first line a little awkward. It's handy that Chairman Schwarzy and Mary are up here because next we are acknowledging the 25th anniversary of the county's money management program, which is administered through our community service department. Jay is one of our star volunteers. Jay Holcomb, I'm sorry, did I not call? Oh, you're up, good. Okay, good. See, he was paying attention. Okay. Jay is one of our star volunteers who plays such an important role in mentoring residents enrolled in the program. I'll read our proclamation describing the program, and I'll let Whereas DuPage County is dedicated to improving the lives of residents, including families and older adults. And whereas the Illinois Volunteer Money Management Demonstration Project, which began in 1999 as a partnership with the Illinois Department on Aging, is available for low-income older adults in our county. And whereas the Money Management Program, through its volunteers, provides essential assistance with various financial tasks and guidance to eligible residents. And whereas DuPage County's Money Management Program has assisted more than 500 residents with such tasks as organizing, reviewing, and paying bills, creating a budget, writing checks, or balancing a checkbook. Whereas money management would not exist without the dedicated volunteers who assist clients each month. Whereas each year, the Money Management Program has between 30 and 75 volunteers who spend roughly 1,500 hours each year assisting DuPage residents. And whereas DuPage County is committed to raising awareness of the Money Management Program and ensuring the valuable effort continues for years to come. Now, therefore, be it resolved that I, Deborah A. Conroy, Chair of the DuPage County Board, and members of the County Board do hereby recognize the Money Management Program in DuPage County for 25 years of helping residents, and we express our appreciation for the caring volunteers who have fostered its success. Enacted the 10th day of December 2024 in Wheaton, Illinois. Good motion? All in favor? Okay.
So Jay is here representing the many volunteers of the money management program. So he'll talk about it from his perspective. But the money management volunteers, I mean, how are you not looking? How is Jay and the others? How are they not some of the best people in the county? They absolutely are. They're there. They're giving up of their own time to really help seniors who are financially struggling to manage their money. And when I think about the fact that our Adult Protective Services unit, a large percentage of what they investigate is financial exploitation. So it's the money management volunteers who are really those guardians for the most vulnerable seniors in our community. So I'm going to call up Jay to just say a few words, but I want to thank him and all of the volunteers, and as well as Christine, who shepherds them all and really guides them all. So Jay, come on up.
Good morning. I'm known for being brief, and today will not be an exception. I consider myself to be here to represent the other volunteers. They're out and about every day, looking after things as organized and managed by Christine. I think it's a valuable program. I've been doing it for a long time. Otherwise, I wouldn't be doing it. It helps the people stay in their homes. It solves their anxiety over all kinds of money and utility problems. And it's a program that has great value. Thank you.
I neglected to mention that Jay's been volunteering with us for 23 of the 25 years.
Okay, on the matter of public comment, according to our county board rules, members of the public shall be afforded time to address the board. Individual remarks shall not exceed 3 minutes in length, nor shall the total time provided for all remarks exceed 30 minutes. And our first speaker is
Amanda Pyzik.
Good morning, Chair Conroy and the DuPage County Board members. Thank you for giving me an opportunity to speak with you today. My name is Amanda Pyzik, and I am the Mental Health Coordinator at Mattia Valley High School in Indian Prairie District 204. Over the last 2 years, we've been blessed with the ability to refer students to the Indian Prairie Cares program, which was provided through funding from a grant through the IDPH, but it expired in June of 2024. This program provided free individual counseling sessions outside of school hours to students and families in need. For many students, the CARES program was the only way that they were able to receive counseling services that they so desperately needed. Many students are on wait lists, many with DuPage County, due to not having insurance and the ability to access mental health services. In my role as a mental health coordinator, I work with students who have been hospitalized. I serve as the liaison between the school, the hospital program and staff, and the student's family. I work with students who attend a wide range of programs, and I see students and families who have greater financial resources and more comprehensive insurance plans have the enhanced access to mental health programming and services, and those students have a smoother transition back to school. In contrast, students who face early discharge from programs due to limited resources or due to state-funded insurance return to school with needs that have been unmet, and this impacts their readiness to learn and their ability to acclimate to school and their emotional well-being. These students often will wait on wait lists for weeks to be seen by a counselor, when in reality they should have weekly therapy sessions upon discharge from a hospitalization. IPSC Cares provided the opportunity for students to have this counseling support right here in our school building in the evenings, and they, without it, may have not otherwise had the support. We ask that you please include the Mattia Valley Cares Project in the newly created Board Member Initiatives Program to bring back no-cost after-school mental health services to our low-income students at Mattia Valley High School. Our superintendent, Dr. Adrian Talley, previously delivered public comment and passed out a packet outlining a budget, project overview, and a letter of support from our principal so that you all could see that we have a plan. Our district is not taking any overhead from this project and that we spend every single cent towards providing mental health services to our students that so desperately need it. Regardless of the outcome, we'd like to thank you and former county board member Patty Guston for her support on our project over the last few years and are looking forward to working with new board member Hayter, who ran on the commitment to enhance mental health services in our community. Thank you.
Bridget Luke.
Good morning, Chair Conroy and the DuPage County Board members. My name is Bridget Luke, and I'm a licensed clinical... Sorry, am I good now? Okay. My name is Bridget Luke, and I'm a licensed clinical social worker, and I work at Metea Valley High School in Indian Prairie School District 204 as a school social worker. As many of you are aware, our youth mental health is in critical need of support. I see a constant stream of students throughout my day who have significant mental health challenges. These needs range from substance abuse challenges, major depression, anxiety, psychosis. Students are survivors of sexual assault or domestic violence, and other traumas. Unfortunately, the support that myself and the other school mental health professionals can offer during a school day is not enough to meet the ever-increasing mental health needs of our students. Over the last 2 years, we were blessed with the ability to refer students to the Indian Prairie Cares program, provided through funding through the Illinois Department of Public Health, which expired in June of this year. This program provided free counseling outside of school hours to our students and families in need. Many of the students who are in the most need at Metea are low income and receive state insurance. Wait lists are extremely long to receive services with state insurance or require severe mental health needs in order to be eligible for services through the county. However, CARES removed most of the barriers for our students and families. We were able to immediately provide counseling to students and families who would otherwise be on long wait lists or have to travel longer distances for services. Indian Prairie Cares has proven itself to be a successful model for delivering after-school, no-cost mental health care to low-income families. Post-appointment surveys indicated that families rated the quality of treatment provided as 4.8 out of 5 and 100% recommended that the CARES program continue. This school year, we have not been able to provide the CARES clinics due to a need for funding, and this year I have seen more mental health needs, severe mental health needs, than ever before. I cannot begin to describe to you how defeating it feels to not be able to locate the imperative outside services that a student, a child, needs in order to function in and outside of school. Please consider providing the funding we need in order to partner with us in meeting the behavioral health needs of students and families at Metea Valley High School through the CARES program. We ask that you please include the Metea Valley CARES project in the newly created board member initiative program to bring no-cost after-school mental health services back to our low-income students. Thank you so much for allowing me to speak today.
Larry Pitts.
Good morning. I came this morning to urge you not to vote on the DuDOT build on the fairgrounds location and instead search for a location away from the residential areas. But I hear that that's moot, that it was already passed in finance. Also, I was surprised to hear Chair Conroy's statement during last meeting's public comment section where she said there will not be a performing arts center on my watch. So much for democracy.
John Henry Harker.
Hello, my name is John Henry Hacker. I reside in Whitfield Township, and I want to thank you for letting me speak today. I am here to read a letter from my archery coach, Mark Wolvington. Dear DuPage County Board members, I am writing about the proposed repurpose of the DuPage County Fairgrounds. I am a resident of District 5 and a member of organizations located in District 3, Chicago Bow Hunters Archery Club, and Illinois Target Archery Association, and District 6, Wheaton Rifle Club Archery Program. The existing fairgrounds are unique in DuPage County open space for many users. For archery, it is a central space with the unique capability of indoor and outdoor events. Building 1 is so well considered that it is one venue of a dozen around the country for the U.S. Archery Indoor State Championships. This event draws about 350 archers over 3 days in February. Building 1 hosts the ITAA State Indoor Championships with the participation on another 3-day weekend in February. The north area is near the Butterfly Garden is host to our Outdoor State Championships, another 3-day event held in August. Building 1 is scheduled around other activities such as tennis, pickleball, volleyball, and trade fairs. The outdoor venue is currently the most suitable area in DuPage County to host these championships. The next nearest venue is perhaps Campton Fields in Kane County. I asked the board to emphasize the recreational purpose and use of the fairgrounds. Preserving the northwest section between the Butterfly Garden and the barns is important to the Northern Illinois Target Association. Community. Developing the north area as a transportation center removes very large and needed open area, replacing an indoor venue which can be compared to Navy Pier in the archery world, unless the design of the new buildings can accommodate the archery events. I have enjoyed the archery competitions at our fairgrounds. Over the years, I have set 1 state record and I have gotten 3 first places in the JOAD level. I hope archers to come will still be able to use the fairgrounds for the same purpose. JOAD stands for Junior Olympic Archery Development Program. Thank you very much for thinking of us as you go forward.
Mrs. Rogg. Mrs. Rogg.
Hard to follow that one. I was going to address specifically Miss Fitzgerald today, but she's not here. I was on top of things. But Miss Fitzgerald,
Can't hear you,
I wish
Mrs.
she
Rogg.
was here to defend herself. Mrs. Fitzgerald, I wanted to address her specifically. She used to say, well, I wonder what the nuns were thinking. We share Catholicism together. And we all believe in the commandments in the Catholic Church. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. Love your neighbor as thyself. She really brings up the prairie path a lot when she talks. She talks about her scooters. Her and her sister, I thought, had scooters. And then now last time at the IDOT meeting, she was talking about an e-bike and going through the prairie path and how some people take advantage and go a lot faster than the allowed 20 miles an hour. But she loves being graced, living in one of the wealthiest cities in DuPage County, Glen Ellen. And she is graced with a beautiful prairie path that she can go out and outside and see tranquility and birds and flowers and grass growing and smell the earth, cattails, whatever. But you don't seem to want to do the same thing for your neighbors in Wheaton, in this quadrant. She just had, I think, a grandbaby, she said on one of the meetings. She couldn't go to the ribbon cutting. And that baby, now, someone mentioned about how long a person before they were born. If you build that building there, I think one of your businessmen said it would last 70 years. So her baby would be now born to 70 years of age if she had the misfortune of living on that corner, and those school children in that school would have to look at that for 70 years. And you have the opportunity, I heard Mr. McGuire say you have a blank canvas. You have the Morton Arboretum here in DuPage County. You have the Ball Horticultural, I'm killing that, Horticultural Center. You could beautify, you could put in a big, beautiful gazebo. In Itasca, we have our small triangle with swans in the gazebo. Everybody goes there for their wedding pictures. Everybody enjoys the graduations. On that corner, you could have a welcoming to the county sign and have pathways. I used to belong to the Oak Park Art League, and we had to raise funds. They would sell blocks that people would engrave their loved ones, past ones, new ones, future ones, whatever, was important to them on those blocks. It was fundraiser. Pavers, so you could have a pathway to walk. Baby strollers. The school across the street could do things there. You could have park benches. It could be a beautiful, beautiful place. You should want for your neighbors in Wheaton the same that you want for yourself. And Mrs. LaPlante, real quick, I'm tired. I remember back in the 60s, there was a big phrase, welfare queens. You know, I'm tired of you thinking that you deserve to have the taxpayers pay for your fun. I belong to the DuPage Art League. We should sue you. If they give in to you, you should buy the DuPage Art League. There's other artists besides you.
Mrs. Rogg, if you could please wrap up.
Thank you.
Carrie Wire.
Thank you for letting me speak today. My name is Carrie Weir. I'm 15. I joined 4-H in the spring of 2021. It changed my life in many ways. 4-H, being part of 4-H is the DuPage County Fair, and we use it in many different ways. One of the ways I have used it personally is training dogs through the Glenbard All-Breed Obedience Club, which offers many levels and opportunities for dog training. They allowed one of our 4-H clubs to use a training ring every week at no cost, and Mrs. Cedar, my trainer, volunteers her time to teach us. The first day of training class, my dog was not very well behaved. We continued training, working at the fairgrounds, and got her Canine Good Citizen title and her Trick Dog title at the fairgrounds with the Glenbard All-Breed Obedience Club. Later, we also participated in the Tri-County 4-H Dog Show, also here at the DuPage Fairgrounds, and won Grand Champion in Obedience and Rally, and went on to win second place in Obedience at the State 4-H Dog Show. I enjoyed training and competing so much that I decided to try earning AKC titles that correspond with 4-H classes I did at 4-H Show. I was able to complete my beginner novice title a few weeks ago and earned 2 of the qualifying scores for my novice A title. When I earn one more qualifying trial, I will earn my novice A title. Having the Glenbard Training Club and the Fairgrounds facility is a big part of my success. While I work with Ember at home often, I don't have the space the training ring gives or the help of more experienced trainers. Several of the teachers at the Glenbard Obedience Club have offered to allow me to join their advanced classes in order to continue my training. One of the things I love about training and competing with my dog is that the same people are my teachers, competitors, and cheerleaders. It is fun to learn alongside them and from them, and to share in a sport that we all enjoy. I'm excited that dog training is something that I continue to do throughout my life, and I'm thankful to have the space to learn and grow at the DuPage County Fairgrounds. Thank you.
Jamie Weir. Jamie Weir.
Good morning. I'm the proud mom of that girl right there, so excuse me a moment. So she is one of 5 kids. I have 5 kids, 4 of whom are actively involved in the 4-H program in DuPage County. We joined, as she said, in 2021, and it's been an incredible experience for us. DuPage 4-H program currently offers 25 clubs, with 3 in the works for 2025 charters. That's an incredible number for a county of our size. 162 eligible 4-H youth at the end of last year's program, and at least 25 Cloverbed youth ages 5 to 7. And I know that's bigger for this year because our own club has grown substantially from last year to this year. While the clubs meet all over the county in all corners, in people's homes, in park district facilities, and libraries. They also meet at the DuPage County Fairgrounds, but that is our home base. That is where we gather together as a county. We gather together with Kane and Kendall County people to do things. One of the big things that we do there is service projects, and we've done a lot of service projects over the years, even just in the few years that I have been a part of 4-H. One of the big goals of the 4-H program is addressing food insecurity. We have a lot of people that really have a passion for that. And we have done things like making healthy meals for kids. We went as far as to collect enough food stuffs to win at the state fair. DuPage County was the winner last year of the food drive, which means we as a county brought in the most to serve the people in our community. We make dog tugs for rescue dogs, including the rescue where we got our dog. We make cards for veterans. The kids have packed gift bags to go to nursing homes to be given to seniors that may not have family and may not receive gifts on Mother's Day or their birthday or holidays like that. So really good things these kids are serving. Once a year, we host International Night at the fairgrounds. All of the clubs study a country. They create a display and they cook food, and then hundreds of people, parents and grandparents and community members, come. They get a passport, and they get to travel the world without leaving DuPage County. And it's a fun community event, it's a fun learning event, and it's a chance for our kids to demonstrate things that they have learned. And of course, there's the county fair. It's making a comeback after a hard hit during the pandemic. It's getting bigger and better every year. My kids, we live in Bensonville. I literally can see O'Hare Airport down the alley, and my kids love livestock. So we have chickens. Bensonville allows us to have chickens, and the kids have pet rabbits. But last year, they were able to raise sheep and a pig as Chicago's suburban DuPage County members and show those at the DuPage County Fair. And what an incredible experience.
Ms.
Not
Weir,
only,
if you could just wrap up.
yeah, okay, sorry. So the fairgrounds is it's a safe place for my kids. It's a second home for them. And I just wanted to thank you for supporting it. I hope that you remember us as you make plans for it. And thank you for having me today.
Pat Sen.
Thank you for allowing us to speak today on behalf of the fairgrounds. I'm a registrar and board of directors of Glenbard All-Breed Dog Obedience Club. We've been training our dogs at the fairgrounds for close to 60 years. 60 years. Think about it. That's a long time to be training dogs. So we put about 2,500 plus dogs every year through obedience training. These are dogs that might have ended up in shelters or worst case scenario on the streets as strays. So we not only do obedience training, we also do our dogs compete in AKC sporting events. We are lucky to have the 4-H kids that come through our building as well, and we're very grateful that the fairgrounds lets us do our dog training there because we would really have no place else to do it. So thank you for letting us speak today, and hopefully we can continue using the facility that we do today. Thank you.
Ani Paganis.
Good morning. Thank you for allowing me to come once again. I was here 2 weeks ago and presented a one-pager to you that kind of outlined the impact that our fairgrounds has on the community. And today I'm here on behalf of the DuPage Events Center and Fairgrounds Board of Directors. I sit as president. And we understand that this proposal for DUDOT may go forward in spite of our wish that it wouldn't. But if it does, I'm here today to enlist your support financially and for pre-planning to reinvent ourselves on the south portion of our grounds. The north portion is currently more than 60% of our rental revenue, and we probably would struggle to exist without that. So we would like to have the opportunity to move the infrastructures that we have built or replace them, which would include the electricity and the water. And we also have a large space down there to a horseshoe shape that we provide for vendors during the festivals that come up. And we would very much like to move the community garden and the Butterfly Garden, should this proposal move forward. And all of that requires funding, so I'm here just to enlist your support with that. Thank you.
Jim McGuire.
Good morning again. I'm very fortunate to have just returned from Phoenix, Arizona, and the International Association of Fairs and Expositions annual convention. It is a gathering of county and state fairs from across the country and the world. Fairs and fairgrounds have played an important role in their communities for hundreds and even thousands of years. It is always a great reminder that fairgrounds are a unique gathering place that create opportunity for the members of the community that they are in. This week starts Christmas sharing on our grounds. Several organizations will be distributing Christmas gifts and food to make the holidays a little bit brighter. The Fair Association hopes that the commitment to the place where community gathers stays strong. And we wish you all a very Merry Christmas and a wonderful holiday season. Peace to all of you. Thank you.
Okay, if the board has received public comment via our online portal, per board policy, those comments were provided to members yesterday so they could be reviewed. Comments submitted electronically will be included in the minutes of this meeting. It's not typically appropriate for me to comment at this point, but there is one thing I do want to state, and that's that there's kind of a false narrative out there right now, okay? The $87 million for Ravinia West would have to be 100% fundraised. That is something that is not doable for this board. I don't see that as feasible. We do have a wonderful compromise, and John Henry and Carrie, your voices are so incredibly important to this right now, and I want to thank you for stepping up today. We do value the fairgrounds, and we intend to make sure we can continue doing all the things that Jim has done on the fairgrounds. So thank you so much for your leadership today, and I look forward to seeing you both change the world. Now, I'd like to invite Tom Marcucci to the podium. The future of our region's transit is one of the big topics we will be tackling at the state and local level in 2025. So I know many of you are interested in hearing this morning's presentation from our representative on the PACE Suburban Bus Board. Former Elmhurst Mayor, Tom Marcucci, is here this morning with his agency's annual update featuring their budget and plans for this year ahead. Welcome, Mayor.
Thank you, Chair. I really appreciate the opportunity to be with you today and with the board. I see there's some new faces here, so I want to make sure to introduce myself. Tom Marcucci. I represent you on the PACE Suburban Bus Board. I look out for the interests of DuPage County and your collective constituents. With me today is Christine Rose. She is our service director here in DuPage County. If you have an issue like a bus was late or a bus broke down or the bus disappeared or when are we going to get a bus, I oftentimes direct folks to Christine Rose. She knows more about the day-to-day details than even I do as a board member. As someone from this podium mentioned about 20 minutes ago, they had a reputation for being brief. I do not. But I'll try to get through this the best I can. It's important. This is the budget presentation, so I have to give you numbers. And I will give you numbers, but I'm going to rush them. It's going to appear that I'm rushing through them because I want to get to some big behind-the-numbers issues that you should be aware of. We need to be aware of. We published our 2025 budget in the late summer. We invited folks to this building in, I believe it was early October, to have a public hearing on that budget. No one showed up. No one. Well, why would that be? Is that a good thing or a bad thing? In my experience, the more people are pleased with the budget, the less they show up. This is the first time it's ever been zero. So the takeaway from that is that the current budget that we're projecting shows no service cuts and no fare increases, and that's what folks like. And so they chose to not make the effort to come and tell us what was on their mind. If we are raising fares or we are cutting service, believe me, we hear about it, and we've had hearings where we've had as many as 30 or 40 people show and give public input just like you just heard from folks who get a period of time to tell us what they're concerned about. I'm going to rush through some budget numbers here for you just to give you the flavor of it. The big PACE budget is $620 million, of which 339 is for suburban service. That's the buses on the roads in our communities. Of that, it requires $287 million. The 339 requires support of $287 million in tax funds. What's the difference? The difference is what comes in through the front of the bus, the money that we receive from people who are riding the bus. That number fluctuates every year. There's a goal. It used to be 30%. Now it's 25%. And it goes up and down. At this moment, we are well short of 25% because we still have not totally recovered from the COVID event. However, some good news is that the PACE ridership has surged about 20% in the last 90 days. People are getting back to normal. People are getting back to work. Working remotely from home is decreasing. And when you're in the transportation business, that's basically good news. The ADA paratransit budget for PACE is now $281 million. And you should know that that is not only for DuPage County or for suburban, we normally refer to as the suburban six-county area around the city of Chicago. PACE took over ADA service within the city of Chicago now over a decade ago. And we provide that service in the entire area, and that number is $281 million. That is almost completely supported, not completely, but almost completely supported by tax dollars. There is a fare to get into an ADA ride, but it doesn't go up very often. And in the longest ride you can take in DuPage County, that fare covers less than 10% of the cost. The state legislature has asked us to have those fares cover 10% of the cost of that ride. It has never happened in my entire history with the organization. So on the capital side, and that's back here on this other page, our total capital is $780 million plus a little bit. We do that. The capital mostly maintains our facilities and buys rolling stock. So the rolling stock that's going to be purchased this year are 8 fixed route buses. Those are buses that go up and down the street and service communities. They are hybrid buses. So we're trying to get away from buying diesel buses like I've been talking about the last couple of years. We're not completely away from that, and there's a question as to how that's going to proceed over the next coming years. But anyways, we're going to buy 8 hybrid buses. We're doing that kind of as an experiment. We want to run them, see how they go, see how far they go, what the maintenance costs are, can we get parts, and those kinds of things. We're going to buy 13 replacement buses for the over-the-road coaches that you see going down Interstate 55 from the southwest suburbs to stops in Burr Ridge and goes down to the medical center and the loop, etc. Those are very expensive buses, but the older ones are now at their useful life and need to be replaced. And we're going to buy 15 paratransit replacement vehicles. Those are all still diesel buses. So additional items on the budget is we're going to continue to provide what I call extra $200,000 to DuPage, and we're providing it to each county above and beyond our standard program for support of local ride services. That came in about 3 years ago. It's not guaranteed to continue, but the PACE board allocates those funds every year, and they go to your transportation committee and local ride services, and we let the local folks figure it out because you're on the ground here, and you know better than we do where it can be deployed. As I mentioned earlier, the I-55 routes, we're expanding those routes. There's going to be more and more service on there. We recently made headway in Burr Ridge on a park and ride. You have to be able to park the car to get on that bus, or at least get a ride to that bus, and figure that all out. We've enhanced the service on Route 301, which is Roosevelt Road, and Route 322, which in my notes says Cermak Road, but you and I know it as 22nd Street. And 22nd Street, by the way, Cermak is now in line to get a pulse route. Now PACE has 2 pulse routes up and running now. 95th Street is ahead of Cermak Road, but it's coming. And the easiest way to explain that is it's an express bus. It doesn't stop as often. It only stops at dedicated stops that are built for that. If you travel in the loop downtown, from time to time you'll see these big overblown bus stops, and they have canopies on them and heaters and heated sidewalks, and they're more comfortable to stand in than standing along Roosevelt Road in the winter, by way of example. And so that's part of the program. And the bus runs not necessarily more often, but it doesn't stop as often. So you get from one end of that route to the other end of the route much quicker, and it helps build ridership because people want to get to places in a hurry and at least as fast as they would be able to travel with a car, and a pulse route helps address that situation. Other kind of granular things, we continue to support the Naperville Aurora on-demand service. That's relatively new, and it's in our budget. We're going to continue to do that. We're expanding. Look to expand our Van Go program. We've had a van program which helps people collectively get into a van that PACE subsidizes and drive to work, and that helps employers get employees who might not live in their area. It's available to anybody in the 6-county region. Employers really like it. It helps people get to work. The person who's dedicated to drive the van actually gets some personal miles to use it as they park that van in their driveway. Well, now there's the flip side of that. Instead of having the van at home, we're going to be putting vans at metro stations. So people can come out from the city or in from farther west to, I'll just make it up, downtown Elmhurst or the Itasca stop and get in that van and drive it to work, let's say in Hamilton, in the Hamilton office area or Spring Lake office area. And the van can sit there all day. And then when they're done, they take that van back to the metro station and park it. And that's how that covers that. It's always a challenge in DuPage County how to cover the last 3 or 4 miles. Additionally, I think it's of great interest to you, I hope it is, that PACE is now providing free rides, totally free rides, to anybody with an ADA card issued by the RTA under state guidelines. So that's an effort to make it more convenient for people. They don't have to call a ride service. They don't have to call Uber. They don't have to call somebody like that. They can just go to the bus like everyone else. And that's been part of the bedrock of the ADA program in this country for the last 25, 30 years, is to normalize ADA folks' access to our communities and to our public services. So now they can go and get on the bus for free. Now, why would PACE do that? Because that bus is already going down the street. There's no increased incremental cost to us to give that person that ride, and it saves us from underwriting an ADA ride, which could cost us anywhere from $10 to $25. So it's a money-saving thing for us, and it's better service or a different service, an enhanced service for the folks who have those cards. What else? Additionally, I want to take note that we did finally open up the Hinsdale Lake Terrace rideshare program, which I thank you for. That was input from the board, actually, that spurred PACE to take a really hard look at that and come on board, and we're glad to be part of that total program. The other things that are really on my mind, and I just run through those numbers so quick, are, like I said, this is kind of behind the scenes and not in the budget book, are the proposal to merge all transportation services in the Chicago metropolitan area. Sounds good, we'll save money, it'll be better service, it'll be more coordinated, and there was kind of a rush to judgment on that about 18 months ago, 2 years ago, and in my humble opinion, none of that was true. It's gonna save money. No one knows how much money it's gonna save or if that's gonna be a significant amount. How consolidating the boards would increase service in DuPage County, no one has ever been able to answer that question. Well, you don't coordinate enough with the CTA. Well, I represent DuPage County. We don't have much CTA service out here. But let's say I represented Suburban Cook. PACE has people in the CTA office every day. Our coordinators, our planners, know their planners. They work together daily. They have desks in those offices. There's no enhanced coordination that can be attained when you're already talking to them every hour of every day. So that's one of the things. The other thing that I really fear is that you all, your chair, will lose representation. The way I kind of came up in my head to explain this to folks is 10 years from now, when the mayor of Wayne calls downtown and says, you know, we need another bus in our area, the first answer is going to be, or question is going to be, okay, where's Wayne? Because they're not going to know. You know, but whoever is going to be answering that phone down in the loop is not going to know. So I think that part of and this is, you see this all through the government in the United States, the service is better, the representative is better, the closer it is to the people, the closer it is to the ground. And so that's where we're kind of at on that we were told that all the county chairs approved this. Wasn't really true. I think there is one county chair that supports it in full disclosure and honesty, and that's their business, but it's just not a particularly great idea. The other thing I wanted to mention is revision. I saw a packet on Cindy's desk that was from revision. You need to really take a close look at this. I would invite you, I do this sometimes, and I'm really serious this time. I'm asking you to go online and watch the most recent PACE bus meeting, because the middle 25, 35 minutes of it are taken up by a consultant who was talking to us about revision. So every once in a while, you've seen these things, you know. So I remember Suburban O'Hara Commission did the 2020 plan, and PACE did a 2020 plan in like in 2002. These are plans looking forward of how we're going to structure public transportation in our area. And the basic question, according to the consultants that we've hired in revision, is we're going to take public input, and I encourage you to become familiar with revision and to encourage any constituents that you have who are interested in public transportation or changes to public transportation to go and on the website and look at what these plans are. But it boils down to this. Think of a meter. Think of like your gas meter in your automobile, empty and full tank, right? Well, let's change that to coverage and ridership. For years at this podium, I have said that PACE gets so many dollars, tax dollars, and we have to put that dollars out on the street and maximize ridership, the number of people who are boarding our buses. And when we find a route that's only recovering 10 or 12 or 14% of its cost, we then feel that we can cut that route, take those assets, that bus driver and that bus, and put out another route that will serve more people. And that made all the sense in the world to me and still does. Here's the difference. The consultants are saying when we, and we should, that's what they're saying, cut that route and take those buses and the driver and add them to the current existing routes. But wait a minute, they're already successful. They've already got lots of ridership. They already have a high return on the investment. Why? Because if you cut a route that's serving 140 people a day and you give it to a route that's serving 400 people a day, the result will be 600 people a day, so ridership goes up and you're by then de facto more efficient. So to paraphrase Ronald Reagan, I'm from the government and I'm here to help, and you're going to lose your route. Because that's what it really boils down to when you really understand this. I'm not for it. I'm told by the executives at PACE, Tom, calm down. We'll explain it to you. We'll make it better. It's going to be okay. I'm not convinced yet. So I would ask you, almost plead with you, to become familiar with revision, encourage people to participate, and if you think I'm wrong, I represent you. Let me know. So those are the big points of my discussion. The chairman asked me to keep it down under an hour, so I'll do that. And I'm glad to take any questions.
Member Zay. Oh, choice.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you, Tom. At least I did read your new thing, and it's your revision. I took a look at it, and it shows no buses now in my district, no buses in the future in my district, and no buses really in the future forever in my district.
Yeah, they'll get farther away. Right.
Well, I mean, we have to come to realization that PACE, if you're getting less than 20% recapture, something's got to be done.
Mm-hmm.
These buses driving around empty all the time is not the future. And us funding them to that is something. We have to look at the dollar-ride programs. We have to look at other programs, the van programs, things like this that people might use.
Right.
Because to keep funding PACE at this amount and getting, I mean, I'm a business guy. If I'm selling my product and I'm getting 10% or 20% back, it's not sustainable. And it just isn't. I mean, unfortunately, you're handicapped with the ADA for the city of Chicago, which is a huge number to PACE.
Right.
But again, we have to start looking at ways, PACE has to start looking at ways to modernize, to get outside of the bus areas that don't work. Keep the routes that do, but the other areas, like you said, that are only bringing back 10%, you have to promote dial-a-ride. We have to promote townships that do that. We have to promote things where people know where to go, and it's more efficient, it's more economical, and it will get people where they need to go. But the system right now with just throwing buses out there, and you said 10%, I mean, they're not. I mean, they're not doing it. I mean, it's unfortunate, but that's the way it is. It's not going to affect me that much because we don't have many buses in our district. But other areas I understand, but you have to figure out where people want to go, and then those other areas are going to have to deal with a more modernized program of PACE where we can get more one-on-one effort in areas where people are going to hubs where we can carpool or do these vans or do dial-a-ride programs where they're on a schedule, they have to go to a doctor, they can get picked up, and they can do that.
Member Zay, you're absolutely right. I can't agree with you more. Almost all, not all, but almost all of the service that's been added into DuPage County in the last 5 years has been various versions of rideshare, dial-a-ride, taxi access programs, ADA programs, et cetera. That's where we've been headed for quite a while. And it's like in the Naperville situation, in that Hinsdale Lake situation, we just can't get a bus there. And we know the bus is only going to do 10% or even less. And so we've gotten very comfortable with developing these ride shares and these access programs, and they're being successful, and that's why we continue to pursue that route. I will say that there's virtually no route now, not only in DuPage County, but in the PACE system that's recovering less than 12 or 13%. But that's what you used to hear from us once in a while. This area is going to lose its route because it's recovering 14%, and we're going to add a route somewhere else in the 6-county area, maybe in DuPage, maybe not, that's going to hopefully perform better. That's our charge. Get ridership up with the available dollars that we have. But I, for one, am not for looking at it just like that, because DuPage County, from a coverage, from the map perspective, is going to lose large amounts of service should we go too far in that direction.
Member Evans.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you, Mr. Marcucci. I really appreciate all the work you do with PACE, and Chris Rose has been just so phenomenal working with John Loper from DuDOT for this Hinsdale Lake Terrace on-demand rideshare program. I am so excited. I sat with John Loper to get people signed up for this program, and I was really surprised. We've had a difficult time reaching out to the community and getting participation, but while I was there, we had 2 people come in and get really excited to sign up for this program. And I want to thank the board because we are going to get so much data out of this to see where they're going, what they're using this transportation for. They're going to be able to go to job interviews. They're going to be able to get to work, and we're going to find out where they need transportation. And we might even be able to bring a PACE bus line back if we get more participation. So thank you for thinking outside the box. This is a rideshare program in conjunction with Uber. So these people, they already know how to use it. So it's very innovative. I really appreciate all the work you put into it.
I'm going to say again now for the 3rd year in a row, the Uber thing is fantastic. That came to PACE out of meetings in this building with board members. Why aren't you using PACE? Can we utilize PACE? I don't know. We never go back. So our staff calls PACE and say, we have ADA service rides. We'd like to see if you guys can do that. PACE says, we don't do that. We don't affiliate with a government to be underwritten. No, we don't do that. That was 3 years ago. Today they advertise on national television that that's a program that they have, and it's expanding over the map of the United States. I don't want to say everywhere. I just know in the PACE area, it's been a very successful program, and it really addresses a need. And as like Member Zay was just saying, it's very micro. It's very granular service. It doesn't need a big bus and all the costs associated with that. And so that's really where we've been going for quite a while now, and we expect to continue to do so.
Okay, Member Garcia.
Thank you so much, and thank you so much for this presentation. I really appreciate it. I've been in a bunch of meetings about the PACE Pulse bus coming down Cermak 22nd Street. I don't know if this is something you can answer, whether I need to contact somebody there, but there was an issue with them getting a stop at the Yorktown Center.
Yes.
And I don't know if that's been resolved.
I don't think it's been resolved yet. No, we get invited, just to give you the macro version of that, we get involved in programs that employers or other people like shopping centers come to us and say, can you do this? Can you help us out? Can you put a transportation center? Well, Yorktown Shopping Center qualified for that many, many years ago, and we had I'll call it a bus stop. It wasn't much more than a bus stop, but it was a bus stop, and it could hold like 3 or 4 buses at a time. People could use it to transfer, and really what they were doing was getting to work, right? But time goes on, and the management changes, and the new management doesn't have the same vision. And oh, by the way, those buses are ruining the road. They're settling that piece. Now we've got a $400,000 repair job on a piece of asphalt, and it's Pace's fault. So I don't want to castigate Yorktown Shopping Center any more than I already have, but my point is it's not easy. What really fries me is when an employer group will come to us with an office park out in, I don't know, Lake Forest, Illinois, and they want a dedicated bus service, and we tell them we can't afford it, it's not going to generate enough revenue, and they go, oh, we'll underwrite it. Well, they do underwrite it for 3 years or 4 years or 5 years, and then there's a management change, and everybody loses interest, and it goes away. So your issue is on our radar, and we are pursuing it. And Yorktown, the last map I looked at, Yorktown was the epicenter, was the west end of that Pulse route, and really the destination for it. So we really need to get that resolved there. So, sure.
Okay, Member Honig.
Thank you, Chairwoman. I also want to thank you, Mr. Marcucci, for your presentation. It was really well done, and thank you. And I also echo Member Garcia's comments about the Yorktown Center bus route. I think it might be more towards the future, too, in 2026. You know, there's a $250 million project going on there to build, you know, places to live, and you know, as Elon and all those other apartments and the influx of people moving there and having so many more people there, I think that is something that is also a you know, huge concern, because that area is being revitalized, and as more people move in, I think more people are looking for those areas that they can easily access to then get to work, or just to even sometimes it's just as simple as getting to the city and then getting on a bus there and then coming home. So I just wanted to thank you again, and just that I also echo Member Garcia's concerns as well.
Thank you. We have a full-blown planning department. One of the things they do is keep an eye on stuff like that. I recently went with them with a concern, and some of you, this is not in DuPage County, but it's very close, the new casino going up out on Farnsworth. It's a big structure. It's going to employ a lot of people. There's going to be a lot of jobs there, and there's going to be hotels, et cetera, people staying there. And I went to our planning department and said, are you guys aware of this? Do you know this? And they had all kinds of stuff on it. So that's their job. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mayor Marcucci.
Well, thank you, Chair Conroy. I appreciate the opportunity to be here. I and Chris are available for any questions that you have, or if anything comes up in your area, your district, that you want to tell us about. I'm attending a meeting this afternoon at Mayors and Managers about revision, and then there's a town hall in Carroll Stream tomorrow night that I'm going to be at. So we got our ear to the rail. We're going to know what's going on. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay, before I begin my chair remarks, I would like to take a moment to welcome members Heather and Honig to their first DuPage County Board meeting. Welcome to the team, both of you. Okay, as we begin today's meeting, and as we wrap up calendar year 2024, we are in a remarkable place. We worked as a team to create and pass a balanced budget with no increase in the property tax rate. We are making fiscally responsible, thoughtful investments in our county's future, adding to our reserves, strengthening our financial position, and shoring up our county's rainy day fund. At this time, I'm enormously proud of the way this board consistently comes together, finding consensus on the best ways to help our residents who are struggling to emerge from domestic violence, those who need help finding jobs, homes, a reliable way to feed their families, and together with our staff, we try new things, pilot new ways, and provide training and opportunities so that all people in DuPage County can succeed and truly thrive here. Every year brings us a challenge. 2024 did, and I'm sure 2025 will be no different. As we look ahead, I ask that we resolve to continue in 2025 to put DuPage families and residents' needs first. I thank each of you who reached out to your fellow board members to find common ground. This is the kind of government people want to see. You don't have to look far to find other groups who only wish for the cooperative, collaborative style of government we model every day. And in our quest to continually improve, let's vow to maintain and do even better in the year to come. To that end, after my conversations, I have created a 2025-2026 committee schedule, which is on today's agenda for consideration. There is a great deal of wisdom and experience in this room. I hope you will assist each other as any new members to the board or a committee familiarize themselves with the work. Thank you in advance for your cooperation. To our employees, thank you for a spectacular year of hard work and phenomenal progress. To those who will work over the holidays serving at the jail, on campus, the animal shelter, and the care center, thank you. And to all our DuPage residents, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and on behalf of the DuPage County Board, please have a happy and safe New Year. Okay, on to the consent agenda. I seek a motion to approve the consent agenda. Okay. 24-3277, DuPage County Board, regular meeting minutes, Tuesday, November 26, 2024. 24-3218, 11-22, 2024, pay list. 24-3226, 11-25, 2024, SSA refund, pay list. 24-3247, 11-26, 2024, pay list. 24-3256, 11-26, 2024, auto debit pay list. 24-3271, 12-3, 2024, pay list. 24-3291, 12-4, 2024, auto debit pay list. 24-3268, Treasurer's Monthly Report of Investments and Deposits, October 2024. 24-3292, Clerk's Monthly Report of Receipts and Disbursements, November 2024. 24-3270, Change Orders to various contracts as specified in the attached packet. All in favor? Okay, and I will now call on Member Childress and County Board.
Thank you, Madam Chair. At this time, I'd like to defer to Member Garcia.
Okay. Thank you, Member Childress. Madam Chair, I move on item 9A, 24-3279, the nomination and selection of Michael Childress for DuPage County Board Vice Chair. Oh, sorry, 24-3301.
Thank you. Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Roll call, please.
Member Garcia.
Aye.
Member Heather. Aye. Member Honig.
Aye.
Member Krajewski. Member LaPlante. Member Ozog. Aye. Member Rutledge. Aye. Member Schwarzy. Member Tornatori. Aye. Member Yu.
Aye.
Member Zay. Aye. Member Cahill. Aye. Member Childress.
Yes.
Member Covert.
Aye.
Member Desart. Aye. Member Eckhoff. Member Evans. Aye. And Member Galassi.
Okay, congratulations. Vice Chair, Member Childress.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'd like to move on 24-3302, the request for the approval of the board committee assignments, 2025-2026.
Okay, leave is granted. Thank you, Vice Chair Childress. Continue.
I'd also like to move on 24-3305, amending CBO 2-24, ordinance amending section 2040 of the DuPage County Code pertaining to the emergency telephone board system.
Leave is granted, Vice Chair Childress.
I'd like to move on CBR 5324, the appointment of Cheryl Marquet to the emergency telephone board public member.
See, no one leaves DuPage County. Leave is granted, Vice Chair Childress.
I'd like to move on CBR 5424, the appointment of Grant Eckhoff to the emergency telephone board system.
I'm sorry, was there a motion? Just kidding. Leave is granted. Vice Chair Childress.
I'd like to move on CBR 5524, appointment of Joseph Jerkovic to the West Chicago Mosquito Abatement District.
Leave is granted. Vice Chair Childress.
And I'd like to move on CBR 5624, the appointment of Kenneth Rosenwinkel to the Wheaton Mosquito Abatement District.
Leave is granted. Thank you, Vice Chair Childress.
Thank
Okay, we're going to
you.
move on to Finance and Chair Krajewski.
Just a brief update for a minute. Their sales tax came in this month for $750,000 higher than budgeted. And although, so it's still last year, so we're still finishing a strong last year. I know we're gonna have challenges going in the future, but last year we budgeted about $3.2 million less than the year before. We're gonna probably finish at about $500,000 more than 2 years ago, which means a $4 million swing. So that's all good news. We did elect Member Garcia as the new finance chair, so I can defer to her if she would like to take it. I know you did a good job there. I'll be happy to finish it, but we have a new finance chair. If you want to take those, you did a good job.
I will take it.
Okay. All right. I like that. Leadership stepping up.
I will
Okay.
defer to our new member, our finance chair.
Very nice,
Thank you,
Member
Member
Krajewski.
Krajewski.
Okay. Chair Garcia.
Okay. I make a motion to approve FIR 022224, approval of a grant agreement between the County of DuPage and the Child Friendly Courts Foundation for the Safe Harbor Children's Waiting Room in the amount of $106,000 ARPA interest.
It's been moved and seconded. Roll call, please.
Member Garcia.
Aye.
Member Heather. Member Honig. Member Krajewski. Member LaPlante. Member Ozog. Member Rutledge. Member Schwarzy. Member Tornatori. Member Yu.
Aye.
Member Zay. Member Cahill. Member Childress.
Yes.
Member Covert.
Aye.
Member Desart. Member Eckhoff. Member Evans. And Member Galassi.
Okay. Member Garcia.
I make a motion to approve FIR 023524, revision to personnel budget, community services. I make a motion to approve FIR 023724, acceptance and appropriation of the Low Income Home Energy Assistance Program, HHS, grant, program year 25 intergovernmental agreement.
Okay.
Number 25 company, 5,000.
Did you combine them?
No.
I need to.
You need to say your thing?
I do. If that's
Sorry.
okay. That's okay. I don't want to interrupt you,
No,
but
go.
leave is granted. Member
Thank you.
Garcia.
Should I finish this one or go to the next one?
I think.
Finish 10B, so now go to 10C. Thank you.
Yeah, I think
Sorry, I
we
was a
missed
little
it
too
on
fast
one.
on
That's
that.
okay. Yes, but
Member Krajewski. Okay, just threw me into this. Okay. So going on, I make a motion to approve FIR 023724, acceptance and appropriation of the Low Income Home Energy Assistance Program, HHS grant. This is for $3,487,312.
leave is granted. Member Garcia.
I make a motion to approve FIR 023824, acceptance and appropriation of the Illinois State Opioid Response Criminal Justice Medication Assisted Recovery Integration Grant. This is county number 4496 for $15,000 Sheriff's Office.
Leave is granted. Member Garcia.
I make a motion to approve FIR 023924, acceptance and appropriation of the Sustained Traffic Enforcement Program, program year 25 grant. Counting unit 4525 for $39,082 for the Sheriff's Office.
Leave is granted. Member Garcia.
I make a motion to approve FIR 024024, approval of an intergovernmental agreement between the County of DuPage and the Village of Westmont for Liberty Park Water Expansion Project in the amount of $700,000 ARPA item.
Leave is granted. Member Garcia.
Can I do a quick discussion on that point? I just wanted to shout out for our former member, Liz Chaplin. This is something she was spearheading. And I really am excited that we're finally going to get some clean water here in the Liberty Park area here. I know it's in our district and District 2, and I just think it's something that we need to I think that's something that we as a county board are really should be working on, is getting clean water for everybody. So I think this is a great thing. So that's all.
Continue, Member Garcia.
I make a motion to approve FIR 024124, approval of an intergovernmental agreement between the County of DuPage and the Village of Westmont to promote regional tourism in coordination with the FMC natatorium in the amount of $50,000 ARPA interest.
Okay, Member Dessart has a question.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'm going to be consistent here. I believe this could be a wonderful organization, and I'm sure it is if our members support it. But I believe that the funds should come from member initiatives and not this funding procedure. You know, and I've also heard from several of the board members that this $50,000 will be good for economic development repeatedly, good for economic development, good for economic development. But we've already given this organization $50,000, and I haven't seen a memo, email, no documentation at all to verify the claim that the first $50,000 we invested in the natatorium was good for economic development. So I know that this initiative will pass without my vote, so it's my hope that we will see documentation on if and how this was good for economic development. So with that, I would like a roll call, please.
Member Covert.
I just wanted to add that I will be voting yes for this today, but I'm still not pleased and excited about the way the funds are allocated. Just like I repeated before in the previous meetings, I do agree with my seatmate, and it's going beyond the 300,000 member initiative, and other districts also have specific requests. So I'm not happy with the way it's being allocated, but I do support the Nanotarium. I will be voting for it today, but for next time, I don't want to repeat this again, because I think it should just be fair across the board for everyone. Thanks.
Okay, thank you. I just want to state that I do support it because I do believe it is economic development, and I do believe it benefits the entire county. So, where the money comes from is, roll call, please.
Member Garcia.
Aye.
Member Heather. Member Honig. Member Krajewski. Member LaPlante. Member Ozog. Member Rutledge. Member Schwarzy. Member Tornatori. Member Yu.
Aye.
Member Zay. Member Cahill. Member Childress.
Yes.
Member Covert.
Aye.
Member Dessart. Member Eckhoff. Member Evans. And Member Galassi.
Okay, Member Garcia.
I make a motion to approve FIR 024224, approval of an extension to the grant agreement between the County of DuPage and DuPage PADS for an education specialist from June 30th, 2026 to November 30th, 2026. ARPA item.
Okay, roll call, please.
Member Garcia.
Aye.
Hang on, Member Dessart.
Thank you. I just had a question about this. This is for an educational specialist, and so I'm wondering salary and benefits. Maybe Christine is here. Salary and benefits, that equals $194,183.20. Is that just for one person? I know this is for homeless children, and the end date is November 30th, 2026, so it could be more months than just 1 year. Anyway, explain the finances for me, would you please? Thank you.
Sure. This is part of our ARPA closeouts, and all this does is extend it to the very end of the ARPA program. It funds one, but it's been over a long time period. So it's over a 2-year time period. They started a little bit later than what we originally intended when you, the board, approved it. They started spending the money a little bit slower. So really the gist of this is just to extend it out. We think they're going to spend it all a bit earlier, but just in the interest of being conservative, we wanted to make sure there was plenty of time so that we don't lose the money at the end.
Okay, excellent. Thank you so much for the clarification.
Okay, roll call, please.
Member Garcia.
Aye.
Member Heather. Member Honig. Member Krajewski. Member LaPlante. Member Ozog. Member Rutledge. Member Schwarzy. Member Tornatori. Member Yu.
Aye.
Member Zay. Member Cahill. Member Childress.
Yes.
Member Covert. Member Dessart. Member Eckhoff. Member Evans. And Member Galassi.
Okay, Member Garcia.
I make a motion to approve FIR 024324, approval of an agreement between the County of DuPage and Family Shelter Service and Metropolitan Family Services DuPage for capital expenses related to renovations in the amount of $150,000.
Okay, Member Galassi.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I just wanted to reiterate, thank you for your comment on the $50,000 for the FMC. That is a benefit to the entire DuPage County, and I do want to just kind of reiterate that for this this request, and I do want to thank Member Yu for bringing this forward and Member Krajewski for suggesting that we not use member initiatives, because this is also an item that is going to benefit all of the members of DuPage County. And therefore, I'm really glad that this is not coming out of member initiative, because this is a benefit to the whole county. So thank you.
I need a second. Okay. Okay. Leave is granted. Member Garcia.
I make a motion to approve FIR 024424, approval of a second amendment to the grant agreement between the County of DuPage and the DuPage Senior Citizens Council for the drive-through meal program to increase the grant amount by $42,450 to cover the remaining November and December meal pickups. ARPA interest.
Leave is granted. Member Garcia.
I make a motion to approve FIR 024524, budget transfers 12/10/2024, various companies and accounting units.
Leave is granted. Member Garcia.
I make a motion to approve FIR 024624, approval of a second amendment to the grant agreement between the County of DuPage and Choose DuPage for participation in Greater Chicagoland Economic Partnership to decrease grant funds in the amount of $29,675.12 for an amended grant amount of $454,324.88 ARPA item.
Leave is granted. Member Garcia.
I make a motion to approve FIR 024724, approval of an agreement between the County of DuPage and the DuPage County Health Department for the use of opioid settlement funds for fiscal year 2025.
Leave is granted. Member Garcia.
I make a motion to approve FIR 024824, resolution approving the reallocation of American Rescue Plan Act funds in the amount of $1,968,985.33 ARPA item.
Leave is granted. Member Garcia.
I make a motion to approve FIR 024924, additional appropriation for the sale in error interest fund, company 1100, accounting unit 5020 for $24,114, treasurer's office.
Leave is granted. Member Garcia.
I make a motion to approve FIP 003124, recommendation for the issuance of contract purchase order to Alliant Insurance Services, Inc., Trinity Risk Solutions, to provide DuPage Care liability insurance for the period of January 1st, 2025 to January 1st, 2026 for finance tort liability for a contract total amount not to exceed $290,536.
Leave is granted. Thank you, Member Garcia. Okay, we're going to move on to Animal Services and Member Krajewski.
Well, yes, definitely a much shorter list. In fact, no list at all. But I'll just give a quick update. Staff has moved into the new building that's been constructed. There's still a lot of work needs to be done inside there, but they at least can occupy it. And the build out of the old part of the old building is currently underway. Any of the new members who haven't been over there want to get over for a tour, they'd like to show you around there. And the last thing is, in order to support that, we've got a lot of great donations that have come in, about $7 million over the last several years from the public to support that building. The gala, they're scheduled for next year, April 25th, Friday night, Lyle Sheridan. There'll be more information coming out, but that'll be the second gala after last year's kickoff to the big building. So mark April 25th on your calendar, and that's all I have on committee update.
Okay, and also I just want to thank Member Krajewski and Member Desart for their leadership through this project. This really is something we should all be very proud of. Okay, Development and Member Tonatori.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move approval of DCO 64-25, zoning 2470, to approve a variation to reduce the corner side yard setback for a new attached garage addition from 30 feet to 22 feet.
It's been moved and seconded. Roll call, please.
Member Tornatori.
Aye.
Member Yu.
Aye.
Member Zay. Member Cahill. Member Childress. Member Covert. Member Desart. Member Eckhoff. Member Evans. Member Galassi. Member Garcia. Member Heather. Member Honig.
Aye.
Member Krajewski. Member LaPlante. Member Ozog. Member Rutledge. And Member Schwarzy.
Okay, Member Tonatori.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move approval of DCO 65-24, zoning 2471, to approve a variation to reduce the front yard setback from 30 feet to 22.7 feet.
It's been moved and seconded. Roll call, please. Oh, no, I'm sorry. Leave is granted. Member Tonatore.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move approval of DCO 66-24, zoning 2472. We bifurcated this development, so I'll do the same today. I move approval of a conditional use to increase the number of hens permitted on subject property from 5 to 23. Zoning hearing officer denied this recommendation, as did the development committee.
Okay, Member Rutledge.
Thank you, Chair Conroy. I made comments at development about this for some of the new members here. I was the one that spearheaded the, to allow people to have up to 5 hens on their property. And I think we should consider for people with the right property in the right area that we might expand that a little bit. But in this particular case, the comments from neighbors, things like that, that these chickens were not under control. And so as much as I'd like to see us expand that, because the city of Chicago lets you have as many chickens as you want, including roosters, and I think if they can do it, we should be able to do a little better of that here, but I will be voting no on this as well today.
Okay, roll call, please.
Member Tornatore.
Not if you're going to vote
No.
no.
There's a motion to approve this, so if you vote no, you'll be doing the same as the development committee did. No means no.
No means no. Confusing, yes, but we need chickens to cooperate.
Okay. Member Tornatore. No. Member Yu.
Nay.
Member Zay. No. Member Cahill. No. Member Childress. No. Member Covert. No. Member Desart. No. Member Eckhoff. No. Member Evans. No. Member Galassi. No. Member Garcia. No. Member Heather. No. Member Honig.
No.
Member Krajewski. Member LaPlante. No. Member Ozog.
No.
Member Rutledge. And Member Schwarzy.
Okay, Member Tonatore.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'd move approval of a variation to reduce the interior site setback for an existing chicken coop from 25 feet to approximately 6 feet. If the board wishes to approve this, it would require a 3/4 majority. I think we need to
We're going to need a roll call, please.
Member Tornatore.
No.
Member Yu.
Nay.
Member Zay. No. Member Cahill. No. Member Childress. No. Member Covert. No. Member Desart. No. Member Eckhoff. No. Member Evans. No. Member Galassi. No. Member Garcia. No. Member Heather. No. Member Honig.
No.
Member Krajewski. No. Member LaPlante. No. Member Ozog. No. Member Rutledge. No. And Member Schwarzy.
Okay, thank you, Member Tonatore. Moving on to Economic Development and Member LaPlante.
No update today. Thank you.
Okay, Environmental and Member Rutledge.
Thank you, Chair Conroy. Since we're in that season of buying and eating and all the fun that the holidays bring, I just wanted to remind some of the people here and to let our new members know that in working with our partners at Scarce, they save so many things from the landfill. It's unbelievable. So in the cafeteria, there are receptacles to collect bread tags for potatoes, bread, and handled paper grocery bags. Those go to the food pantries. That make that easier for the people to stuff the bags in advance of people coming through the line. But there's also a lot of other things that Scarce will collect that I wanted to make you aware of today. The various scoops that you get in protein shakes, things like that. Silica gel packets. In fact, I talked with Sarah Hunn this morning. She said somebody with an inventive idea used these to free up a part. I forget what she said, but she was like, oh, they work great. Cork, which is a diminishing resource, so we want to make sure we save that. And then the other thing is they take expired gift cards and they make guitar picks out of them. They've got a punch. So if you have any of those things, or I would urge you to collect those things, get them to me. I'll make sure that I get them to Scarce so that they can reuse those items rather than seeing them all go to the landfill. So thank you.
Thank you, Member Rutledge. Human Services, and we'll call on Member Garcia again.
Yes, me again. I have no committee update. I do make a motion to approve HSR 002124, approval of an issuance of payments by DuPage County to energy assistant providers through the Low Income Home Energy Assistance Program HHS Grant Program Year 25 Intergovernmental Agreement in the amount of $2,849,134. Community Services.
It's been moved and seconded. Roll call, please.
Member Garcia.
Aye.
Member Heather. Member Honig.
Yes.
Member Krajewski. Member LaPlante. Member Ozog. Member Rutledge. Member Schwarzy. Member Tornatori. Member Yu.
Aye.
Member Zay. Member Cahill. Member Childress. Member Covert. Member Desart. Member Eckhoff. Member Evans. And Member Galassi.
Okay, Member Garcia.
I make a motion to approve HSR 002224, authorization to apply for the program year 2025 Adult Protective Services APS grant funds from Age Guide Northeastern Illinois.
Leave is granted. Member Garcia.
I make a motion to approve HSP 005424, recommendation for the approval of a contract purchase order issued to Leading Age Illinois for annual membership dues for the DuPage Care Center for the period of January 1st, 2025 through December 31st, 2025 for a total contract amount not to exceed $32,400.
Leave is granted. Member Garcia.
I make a motion to approve HSP 005524, recommendation for the approval of a contract purchase order issued to McKesson Medical Surgical Government Solutions, LLC for prime supplier for general medical and surgical supplies for the DuPage Care Center for the period of January 15, 2025 through January 14, 2029 for a contract total not to exceed $1,115,000.
Leave is granted. Member Garcia.
I make a motion to approve HSP 005624, recommendation for the approval of a contract purchase order to Music Speaks LLC for music therapy services for the residents at the DuPage Care Center for the period of January 12, 2025 through January 11, 2026 for a contract total not to exceed $60,462. $60,462.
Leave is granted. Thank you, Member Garcia. Okay. Now we'll move on to Judicial and Public Safety, and Member Evans.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'd like to move on JPSP 43-24, recommendation for the approval of a contract purchase order to Ray O'Haran Company for the purchase of uniforms for all sworn employees and new hires for the Sheriff's Office for the period of December 30th, 2024 through December 29th, 2025 for a contract total not to exceed $358,000.
It's been moved and seconded. Roll call, please.
Member Evans.
Aye.
Member Galassi. Member Garcia. Member Heather. Member Honig.
Yes.
Member Krajewski. Member LaPlante. Member Ozog. Member Rutledge. Member Schwarzy. Member Tornatori. Member Yu.
Aye.
Member Zay. Member Cahill. Member Childress. Member Covert. Member Desart. And Member Eckhoff.
Okay, Member Evans.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move on JPSP-44-24, recommendation for the approval of a contract purchase order to Heartland Business Systems for the purchase of a scale computer system for the Sheriff's Office for the period of December 10th, 2024 through December 9th, 2029 for a contract total not to exceed $244,636.52.
Leave is granted. Thank you, Member Evans. Okay, we have Legislative and Member Desart.
Thank you, Madam Chair. First of all, in Springfield, lawmakers are adjourned until a January lame duck session, tentatively scheduled for the 2nd through the 7th, and then members of the 104th General Assembly will be sworn in on January 8th. A date for your calendar, you can write this down if you intend to join. Our annual legislative breakfast will be held on Friday, January 17th from 9 to 10:30 a.m., and again, it will be held where it was last year at the Arrowhead Golf Club. And the third and final thing I'd like to remind everyone is that right after County Board, the Legislative Committee will meet to discuss the county's 2025 Springfield legislative agenda, and we also have a special guest coming in. Thank you.
Thank you, Member Desart. Public Works and Member Garcia.
Thank you,
Would you like a mint?
For my committee update, this will be my last Public Works items that I'll be reading. And I just wanted to thank the staff for Public Works. We have the absolute best staff in Public Works, and I cannot say enough about working with you. It's been a complete and utter joy this last year. I'm glad I'm going to be staying on the committee, but they really know how to do their work and do it right, and I just want to give them a big shout out. So that is my committee update for that. I make a motion to approve 24-3278 FMP 0081B22, Second Amendment to Resolution FMP 008122, issued to White Construction Services, Inc., to provide architectural and engineering design services and professional construction manager services on our construction manager at the risk guaranteed maximum price method of delivery for the judicial annex improvements, bond courtroom expansion at the jail, for 2 new courtrooms at the judicial office facility, for the 18th Judicial Circuit, for facilities management to add additional scope of work to install new doors and other improvements for the circuit court clerk for required increased security, increasing the funding in the amount of $250,000, taking the original contract amount from $19,800,000 and resulting in a final county cost of $20,050,000, an increase of 1.26%.
It's been moved and seconded. Roll call, please.
Member Garcia.
Aye.
Member Heather. Member Honig.
Yes.
Member Krajewski. Member LaPlante. Member Ozog. Member Rutledge. Member Schwarzy. Member Tornatori. Member Yu.
Aye.
Member Zay. Member Cahill. Member Childress.
Yes.
Member Covert. Member Desart. Member Eckhoff. Member Evans. And Member Galassi.
Okay, Member Garcia.
I make a motion to approve PWP 003124, recommendation for the approval of contract purchase order to WW Granger, Inc. to furnish and deliver miscellaneous maintenance, repair, and operation parts and supplies as needed for Public Works for the period of January 1st, 2025 through December 31st, 2027 for Public Works for a total contract amount not to exceed $75,000.
Leave is granted. Member Garcia.
I make a motion to approve PWP 003224, recommendation for the approval of a contract purchase order to CIT Trucks LLC to manufacture and deliver a Kenworth T480 chassis with Galfab hoist roll-off body for the period of December 10th, 2024 to November 30th, 2025 for a total contract amount not to exceed $196,067.
Leave is granted. Member Garcia.
I make a motion to approve PWP 003324, recommendation for the approval of a contract purchase order to CDW Government LLC to furnish computer hardware, peripherals, software, and licensing as needed for Public Works for the period of December 10th, 2024 to June 30th, 2028 for a total contract amount not to exceed $90,000.
Leave is granted. Member Garcia.
I make a motion to approve FMP 004324, recommendation for the approval of a contract at Gray Bar Electric Company, Inc. to furnish and deliver electrical, lighting, data, and communication networking and security products as needed for various county facilities, for facilities management, Public Works, Stormwater, and the Division of Transportation for the period of February 1st, 2025 through January 31st, 2029 for a total contract not to exceed $852,000.
Leave is granted. Member Garcia.
And finally, I make a motion to approve FMP 004424, recommendation for the approval of a contract purchase order to WW Granger, Inc. to furnish and deliver miscellaneous maintenance, repair, and operation parts and supplies as needed for county facilities for the period of January 1st, 2025 through December 31st, 2027 for facilities management for a total contract amount not to exceed $176,300.
Leave is granted. Thank you, Member Garcia. And we have Stormwater and Member Zay.
Thank you, Madam Chair. It's the holidays. I don't want to disagree with Member Garcia, but we all know Stormwater is the best staff, but that's okay. I move on.
Noted.
I move on SMR 10-24, enter into an intergovernmental agreement between the County of DuPage and Milton Township Highway Department for the Lloyd Avenue Culvert Rehabilitation Drainage Improvement Project.
It's been moved and seconded. Roll call, please.
Member Zay.
Aye.
Member Cahill. Member Childress. Member Covert. Member Desart. Member Eckhoff. Member Evans. Member Galassi. Member Garcia. Member Heather. Member Honig.
Aye.
Member Krajewski. Member LaPlante. Member Ozog. Member Rutledge. Member Schwarzy. Member Tornatori. And Member Yu.
Aye.
Member Zay.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move on SMP 30-24, approval of a contract issued to Hoyer Construction for trenchless rehabilitation and maintenance of a pipeline infrastructure for Lloyd Avenue in Milton Township for stormwater management period December 10th, 2024 through November 30th, 2025, not to exceed $120,000.
Leave is granted. Member Zay.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move on SMP 3124, approval of a contract issued to Excel Electric to provide civil and electrical work for the generator installation and contingency for Armstrong Park for stormwater management period December 10th, 2024, November 30th, 2025, amount $479,000 per lowest responsible bid.
Leave is granted. Thank you, Member
Thank you, Madam
Zay.
Chair.
Okay, technology and Member Yu.
Thank you, Madam Chair. This is my last committee update as Technology Chair, and I congratulate Member Covert on becoming the new chair because we all know that IT staff are indispensable to the working of the county and, of course, are the best staff. This is a true competition here. But truly, I have learned so much from the technology department as tech chair. I've truly appreciated my 2 years as committee chair. Thank you. So I move now on TECO 4-24, Amendment to County Contract 7148-0001 SERB issued to AT&T Mobility, doing business as AT&T Mobility National Act, to provide wireless services, including basic cellular voice, smartphones, wireless data, and push-to-talk for county departments to increase the encumbrance by $24,325, resulting in a total of $1,505,860.
It's been moved and seconded. Roll call, please.
Member Yu.
Aye.
Member Zay. Member Cahill. Member Childress. Member Covert. Member Desart. Member Eckhoff. Member Evans. Member Galassi. Member Garcia. Member Heather. Member Honig.
Aye.
Member Krajewski. Member LaPlante. Member Ozog. Member Rutledge. Member Schwarzy. And Member Tornatori.
Okay, thank you, Member Yu. We're going to move on to transportation. Member Ozog, who has made it to the back row. Congratulations.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. Speaking of thanks, first of all, I do like to get the last word as an Irish woman, and I have the best staff. So thank you all very much. The last shall be first. Anyway, transportation. These guys are great. I was Public Works Chair. They were great. These guys are great. They're all great. Anyway, I appreciate that. First of all, I want to thank the chair for appointing me to the Transportation Committee for another 2 years. And also, I want to thank the board for your approval during Finance Committee of item 21L. We'll ask your approval again to go forward with the DuPage garage and their maintenance facility. And as many of you know, the current facility is 70 years old, and we'll be building something that will be useful for the next 70 years. And I think that's a real charge that we have in the public sector that we need to build for the future. When I worked at Metro 100 years ago, I was in charge of putting the signs up on the stations when Metro was brand new. And those signs are all still up there, and that was a very long time ago. So it's just one minor lesson in we have to build, and we have to build sustainably because this is the public's money. And we are not an endless well of money, so we have to be responsible. So I thank you for that. All right, going forward, I have a lot to do here. I'm going to talk as quickly as I can. Okay, I move for approval of 243225, amendment to resolution DTR 007123 issued to H&H Electric Company for traffic signal, UPS, and communication upgrades at various locations within DuPage County, to increase the funding in the amount of $2,581.94, resulting in an amended contract total amount of $733,629.26.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
It's been moved and seconded. Roll call, please.
Member Ozog.
Yes.
Member Rutledge. Member Schwarzy. Member Tornatori. Member Yu.
Aye.
Member Zay. Member Cahill. Member Childress. Member Covert. Member Desart. Member Eckhoff. Member Evans. Member Galassi. Member Garcia. Member Heather. Member Honig.
Yes.
Member Krajewski. And Member LaPlante.
Okay, Member Ozog.
Okay, next I move for approval of 243227, amendment to resolution DTP 034121 issued to Genuine Parts Company doing business as Napa Auto Parts to increase the funding in the amount of $70,000, resulting in an amended contract total amount of $670,000, an increase of 11.67%.
Leave is granted, Member Ozog.
Okay, next I'm going to move to combine items 21C through item K.
Okay, all in favor?
Okay, I move to approve DTP 005824. Recommendation for the approval of a contract to HazChem Environmental Corporation to provide hazardous material testing, disposal, and emergency services as needed for the Division of Transportation, $40,000, and Stormwater Management, $10,000, for the period January 1st, 2025 through December 31st, 2025, for a contract total not to exceed $50,000 per renewal option. I move for approval of DTP 005924. Recommendation for the approval of a contract to Atlas Bobcat to furnish and deliver one E35 Bobcat compact excavator for the Division of Transportation for the period December 11th, 2024 through November 30th, 2025, for a contract total not to exceed $61,550.44. I move for approval of DTP 006024. Recommendation for the approval of a contract to Equipment Depot of Illinois to furnish and deliver one new Genie electric boom lift for the Division of Transportation for the period of December 11, 2024 through November 30th, 2025, for a contract total not to exceed $75,244. I move for approval of DTP 006124. Recommendation for the approval of a contract to Atlas Bobcat to furnish and deliver one T770 T4 Bobcat track loader for the Division of Transportation for the period of December 11, 2024 through November 30th, 2025, for a contract total not to exceed $84,028.33. I move for approval of DTP 006224. Recommendation for the approval of a contract to Alltech Industries to furnish and deliver one new AF 1472 chipper truck as needed for the Division of Transportation for the period December 11, 2024 through November 30th, 2025, for a contract total not to exceed $142,219. I move for approval of DTP 006324. Recommendation for the approval of a contract to H.W. Lochner Incorporated to provide professional services for development of a concept study for an active transportation plan for the Division of Transportation for the period of December 10th, 2024 through October 31st, 2026, for a contract total not to exceed $147,851.66. Professional services vetted through a qualification-based selection process. I move for approval of DTP 006424. Recommendation for the approval of a contract to Lakeside International LLC to furnish and deliver Navistar International repair and replacement parts as needed for the Division of Transportation for the period December 11, 2024 through November 30th, 2025, for a contract total not to exceed $150,000 per lowest responsible bid. I move for approval of DTP 006524. Recommendation for the approval of a contract to Parsons Transportation Group Incorporated for professional traffic engineering assistance and signal coordination and timing upon request of the Division of Transportation for the period December 10th, 2024 through October 31st, 2026, for a contract total not to exceed $180,000, professional services vetted through a qualification-based selection process. I move for approval of DTP 006624. Recommendation for the approval of a contract to Deascoto Incorporated to provide professional Phase 1 engineering services for the Division of Transportation for the 91st Street sidewalk enhancements for the period December 10th, 2024 through October 31st, 2026, for contract total not to exceed $292,448.90. Professional services vetted through a qualification-based selection process.
Leave is granted. Member Ozog.
Okay. Before I get to the next item, I also want to thank Steve Travia, our new director, who started here August 1st and was brought into this project immediately, and he's done a fabulous job, and also Bill Edson, who has been by his side during this transition, and they've done a marvelous job, so I really do appreciate that. Next, I move for approval of DTR 004424, resolution approving the use of county-owned land and future financing for the DuPage County Division of Transportation's proposed highway maintenance facility.
Member Evans.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I don't know if everybody else in this board received all the emails about this project, but I spent a lot of time answering emails for this project. So I just want to point out how much work has gone into it. It started in, I think, 2019, and to follow that process and to follow it from the southwest part of the campus to the county fairgrounds, that caused a lot of hurt feelings, and that caused the emails that we got. So I just want to say that we need to engage all the stakeholders in these decisions, and I really think that there probably should have been more discussion beforehand. I know there was some change, with Steve Travia coming on board and everything. But it really, developing the county-owned property, especially when there was nothing there before, that is a policy decision that we should have discussed and not put staff in this weird, difficult position to be answering all these questions. And I'm glad that staff gave me I asked them so many questions, and they did give me a lot of answers. So I appreciate all the work. I just think that if we have to do any more work, especially on the county fairgrounds, it is it's like when we wanted to change the ordinance for the beekeeping. There are a lot of stakeholders that wanted to voice their opinion. So I am supporting this, absolutely, but I just think that we probably could have had more discussion on that and included some other stakeholders. Thank you.
Okay. Member LaPlante.
Thank you. I'm going to be a no vote on this because of all of the dozens and dozens of emails that I have received from my constituents, phone calls, texts, sort of piggybacking on what Member Evans just said. We could have done a better job of reaching out and talking to everyone who is, invested in the fairgrounds, which is basically everyone in this county. This definitely hits close to home because this is my district. This is who I represent. The fairgrounds are in District 4. I want to make sure that everyone who took the time to express their opinion, write an email, show up, I want to make sure that they understand. I heard them. I listened to them. I share their opinion. I've been consistent since the first time I heard about this project being developed for the fairgrounds, which was just last year, and we only just started the conversations as a whole board. I guess that was 2 weeks ago when we heard it for the first time as a whole board. So I would just like to say I too am not happy with the process. It could have been done in a much more transparent and open fashion. And I just want to make sure that I'm using my voice and my vote to express my constituents' concerns. None of this has to do with the overall concept of this. We all know that we need this type of infrastructure. This is more about the process, and it's about the location. That's what that's about for everything that I've heard, and that's what I share those same concerns. And that is why I will be voting no. Thank you so much.
Okay. Just want to state that from my perspective, the amount of work was tremendous in terms of this project, and the compromise in order to make everyone happy, including providing and enhancing the arts, was something that I think it was an incredible collaboration I'm very proud of. Member Desart.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I just wanted to say, thank you, Stephen Trivia, for answering my text and email, or my emails, I should say, when I've had questions from constituents. I do believe that we need to, let me back up. The media is going to report what they report. And I think it's our job, Joan, to send out more press releases regarding what this is. It seemed like from our public comment, it seemed like people think that this building, the COT, is going to take up the whole fairgrounds, and that's just not true. There will still be plenty of room for all of those other things that especially the students mentioned. And I also want to say, besides sending out more press releases regarding what this actually is and why it's actually needed, I also wanted to say, our job as a county, and this needs to be said, it's stormwater, it's zoning and development, it's safe roads, it's community service for those who are needed the most. Our job as a county is not performing arts. It's not our job. Our job is to take care of our people, whether it be safe roads or stormwater. That's our job. Thank you.
Member Zay.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'm a little concerned by the public comment and emails we've been getting, because I think there's some misinformation out there. I hate to say it, I think I'm the longest serving member of the Transportation Committee, and we've been talking about this for years, even when one of the employees backed up through one of the doors and knocked the structure and made it basically unusable for a while. When we made that decision to expand animal control, we knew right away that we didn't have the power over there, that we're going to have to move the transportation over to the fairgrounds. And for people to come back, we're the county of DuPage. We hold ourselves to a higher standard. We have building and zoning. We have stormwater. We have transportation. We have people that come to us for development to get approval. To anyone to think that we wouldn't follow our own rules and don't follow them, do them harder than stormwater. People are telling me, oh, we're gonna have problems. We spent millions of dollars to expand the pond over there for future expansion. So again, the people are worried about traffic. The trucks are already here. They leave our compound already. They actually go out on Manchester in my district. We've already said they're not going to. They're gonna come around this way. The building's actually gonna be farther away from residential than it is right now. So again, there's a lot of misinformation out there, and I'm concerned that people are thinking that we're gonna be tearing down all the buildings over the fairgrounds like Member Desart said. I mean, the only thing I know we're taking down are the horse barns that have been there for a long time, and the grandstands that the city of Wheaton said are unusable and have marked them unusable, and it's been sitting there vacant for years. So again, I think it's a great compromise. They're gonna have room to continue to have archery and have other things there. And again, we need to do that. And again, if we wanted to move it off campus, it would have cost us millions of dollars. But again, I think the staff did a great job. We've been talking about this for years. The chair came through. This is a big ticket item that we had to come through with. And nobody wants to spend this much money, but it's needed. So again, there's a lot of misinformation out there. We're gonna follow our rules. We're not gonna flood anybody out. We're not gonna do any of that. Our zoning's gonna be fine. We're not gonna have noisy trucks rolling out onto Manchester Road and disturbing all the residents. We hold ourselves to a higher standard like we do all our other developers, and it will be approved just like every other project, and it will be a great benefit to the county. And again, it will, I think, actually enhance what's going on over at the fairgrounds. So, thank you.
I agree about the enhancement part, and I think the miscommunication was some community members thinking we were going to build a $87 million Ravinia West type of project, which again, I need to state, would have been fully fundraised. I believe we have a responsibility to our taxpayers that we live within our means. So enhancing the arts is something, if this board decides to do, can very much work within the project that works for everyone. And I apologize to the 4-H kids that were given a different opinion because of a larger project that had been discussed that was not something we had support for. Member Ozark.
Thank you, Madam Chair. A few points. First of all, this morning you all received an email that came from a constituent, and I think I was accused of mismanagement, if not outright malfeasance, which is alarming because to Member Evans' comment about policy, this has been on the radar and discussed for a good long while, including our October 30th meeting of last year. And I think that if the public wants to have partake in our discussions, this will come before the City of Wheaton zoning, so any specific issues can be addressed at that point. But we were not under obligation to notify every homeowner. They're not within the range of this project. So that was not a policy, a dereliction of duty. The other thing I want to point out is that I think there's been an awful lot of miscommunication, and perhaps some of it from board members, that this project is going to eliminate the usages of our fairgrounds, and that is not true. The buildings will remain exactly where they are. We are planning on 4 acres, which is over 3 football fields worth of open space. And if anything, we're going to be able to improve the space that's there now. I mean, let's face it, this has not been over-improved over the years. The fairgrounds can use some upgrading, et cetera, and you know, if we can, hopefully we could make that part of this project. I'm not making any promises, but I do know we are planning on 4 acres of open space, which is an awful lot of land. So we will be able to do a lot of the outdoor activities that were discussed today, et cetera. But overall, though, we have to remember, as Member Desart said, this is one of our core functions. And providing transportation, over 200 miles of roadway, 60 or 70 miles of trails, fleet maintenance for over 500 vehicles, which touches every single department. This is important. And this building is over 70 years old, or almost 70 years old, and it needs to be rebuilt. This is part of our charge, that we need to take care of the things that we have, just like you would in your own homes. So I really appreciate everybody's support today, but I also, I advise, watch how you are presenting policies and issues and other board members. I think it's important that we don't disparage the goals of other committees, that we talk to each other. Thank you.
Member Rutledge.
Thank you, Chair. I'll be quick. I just kind of want to reiterate what Member Zay and Member Ozog have said. Our vote today does not greenlight this project. It pushes it to the next approval process where constituents will have plenty of opportunity to chime in on this. So everybody who is watching or will watch this meeting, you'll have your say. But we do need to move this process forward, and that was what the vote was today. Thank you.
Thank you. Member Garcia.
Thank you. And again, I'm going to reiterate a little bit what Member Ozak said. You know, there's been a lot of emails that have been sent saying that, you know, there's going to be no green space, pollinators are going to be gone. And all of that is incorrect. And going back to how far this project has gone, I actually ran into former member Don Pachalski at an event, and he said this is something they were working on when he was on the board. So this is years back. We did have a special call meeting in 2023 in October where this was discussed. People could come. So this has been something that the staff has been working on for a long time. I myself am very excited about the sustainable changes that are going to be happening with this new building, from the solar arrays that'll be on top of the building, from the above ground fuel tanks that'll be happening. So, because right now our fuel tanks are underground and we don't know, the salt sheds that are going to be larger so the trucks can move in and can be loaded in there without any leakage onto the ground. So there are some really wins for the county on this one. So I just want to say I think this is a win-win for the county. Thank you.
Member Eckhoff.
Madam Chair, if you go over to the area where the people come and talk to us and look kitty corner across the county campus, you may see my house. That's how close I am to it. So I've gotten a lot. I'm not late, just today, by 1 minute. Because somebody pushed the second floor instead of the fourth floor. That's another story. Anyway, I've gotten all the emails that you've gotten. Some of the people come from a door or two away from me. Some of them come from across the street. So I spent the weekend writing a memo to them. And I finished it yesterday, vetted it through Nick and staff, and sent it out to them, touching on all these points. And I sent a copy to you because I hit reply all on one of the emails, so you got a chance to read it. And I'm hoping that that quelled a lot of the concern that a lot of the neighbors had. Because when somebody tells you that they're going to build a huge garage, you of course envision the worst, and that's typical of what neighbors will do. But let me make a couple of points that I made in the memo. Number one, the county owns the property over there. It's 45% of this campus is that property. And it's right now rented to the Fair Authority. But it's always been considered a possible development zone for items that this governmental unit needs, or that we can share with another governmental unit. There's been a lot of talk in the past about a federal courthouse going over there. That would wipe out probably most of it, but this project is not going to do that. But there may come a day when Mr. Zay is still here as the longest serving member of the board, when that property is used for something else and it's gone. But we're doing our best as a county board and the staff to be good neighbors to the neighborhood, not to do that today with this garage. So there's also been concern that there's going to be flooding because of this. Staff has worked very, very hard to make sure that they put in extra detention area for this particular garage. And I have personally worked with the city of Wheaton and with Nick about trying to put extra drainage here on campus for some of the flooding that occurs in that neighborhood. And someday I think that's going to be accomplished. We need this garage. We've got 220 miles of road that we built or that we maintain. And every year we have to go out and fix it, and every winter we have to go out and salt it and put beet juice on it or whatever else we do. And that's a safety responsibility that we have, and we need to be able to move into an area that we can do it. I think, and staff can correct me if I'm wrong, that we're actually adding green space to this area by taking out one of the parking areas and turning that into green space. So I think overall, I wish this didn't have to go there. I'd like to keep that area as big and useful for the county fair and other facilities as possible. But when push comes to shove, we have to do our duty as a county. We have to do our job. We have to make sure our residents are safe and taken care of. So this is our effort to do that, to be good neighbors to the neighbors, to be good neighbors to the rest of the county and do what we have to do. So I'm going to support it.
Okay. Member Krajewski.
Thank you. Again, I pick up on what Member Eckhoff said. This is our property that's over there, and I kind of picked up from former board member Healy, who talked about the fairgrounds and various needs that we need here as a county for the government, the services that we provide, whether that's a DuPage building or something else, and have advocated for a long time that we need to do what we need to do provide our services. This is one that has to be done over there. I mean, we've heard some people talk about getting discounted rent and they're able to use the property. Well, I'm sure there's 30 other organizations out there who would like to come use the property, not have to pay for anything or do anything. But again, any needs that we need, I know there was the federal courthouse that was talked about. We heard today, maybe that's a service we're helping out with, DuPage pads. They mentioned even temporary housing at the fairgrounds. I mean, again, a thought to look into, but there's things that we have to deliver of services that property may in the future be used for. I don't know what that would be. We see one today, but again, that's our property, and there's a whole bunch of people that use it, and I'm sure there's a whole bunch of other ones that would love to use it and not have to pay any rent for it. And how do you decide who is who? But again, end of the day, it's our property. We need to use it for services that we have to provide.
Thank you. This is a really good conversation, and I think it's important to thank staff for all of their involvement in terms of answering questions. This board will never move forward on something if a board member still has a question, and I think making sure that you get the information that you need is incredibly important, and this project is equally as important. So roll call, please.
Member Ozog.
Yes.
Member Rutledge. Yes. Member Schwarzy. Member Tornatori.
Aye.
Member Yu.
Aye.
Member Zay. Member Cahill. Aye. Member Childress.
Yes.
Member Covert.
Aye.
Member Desart. Aye. Member Eckhoff. Aye. Member Evans. Aye. Member Galassi. Aye. Member Garcia. Aye. Member Heather. Yes. Member Honig.
Aye.
Member Krajewski. Aye. And Member LaPlante.
No. Okay. Member Ozog.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Okay, got to find my place here. I move for approval of DTR 004524, intergovernmental agreement between the County of DuPage and the City of West Chicago for the installation and any future maintenance of lighted street name signs at the intersection of Roosevelt Road and County Highway 18 Crest Road and at Roosevelt Road and County Highway 21 Fabian Parkway. Estimated cost $10,000.
Leave is granted. I'm sorry. Roll call, please. Sorry.
Member Ozog.
Yes.
Member Rutledge. Aye. Member Schwarzy. Member Tornatori.
Aye.
Member Yu. Member Zay. Aye. Member Cahill. Aye. Member Childress. Yes. Member Covert. Aye. Member Desart. Aye. Member Eckhoff. Aye. Member Evans. Aye. Member Galassi. Aye. Member Garcia. Aye. Member Heather. Yes. Member Honig.
Aye.
Member Krajewski. Aye. And Member LaPlante.
Okay, Member Ozog.
Thank you. I move for approval of DTR 004624, an intergovernmental agreement between the County of DuPage and the Village of Elk Grove Village for construction and maintenance responsibilities. County Highway 8 York Road, multi-use path, estimated county cost $149,500.
Leave is granted. Member Ozog.
And I move for approval of DTR 004724, intergovernmental agreement between the County of DuPage and the Village of Bensonville for the construction and maintenance responsibilities of County Highway 8 York Road, multi-use path, estimated county cost $557,031.
Leave is granted. Thank you, Member Ozog.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Okay, now I'd like to invite Jeremy Custer to the podium to present two options for your member initiatives. And again, whatever you all decide is good with me. So let's just help our communities.
Good morning. Afternoon, goodness me. Well, I will be brief like our volunteer from the money management project. So if we can go to the next slide. Just a quick summary of what the Member Initiatives Program is. It's not a gift program for nonprofits. The nonprofit will hire the county to perform the service, and it's limited to the public purpose set by state statute, and the statutory authority within the compiled statutes. Just a refresher on that. So if we can go to the next slide. Sorry. Can you, oh my goodness. I'm sorry. Can you hear me now? So the state law governs what we can spend money on as a county. It's a very narrow view. It's why if Connor's in here, Connor usually says, hey, can we do this? And he goes, no, because it's a very narrow scope. So the monies in the member initiative program are governed by those state statutes. If we can go to the next slide, the eligible awardees would be the county government itself and the departments within the departments, other units of government, so your municipalities, townships, park districts, school districts, 501c3s, nonprofit organizations are eligible. For-profit businesses and individuals are not eligible for these programs. 501c3s are eligible, but like C4s, C6s, C5s, those would not be eligible.
Because they weren't all eligible on the small business grants.
Understood. But for this, based off of the research we did, we could do that with them. And then this to the next slide, please. And then the requirements. Again, allowed by state statute, it must be competitively bid. The organization does not necessarily need to be located in DuPage County, but the money has to be spent in DuPage County. So Illinois Food Bank is a good example, not located but serves, and the money is spent in DuPage County. It must be authorized by a county board resolution before proceeding to expend the money, and the money must be expended in fiscal year 25. So those were the general program criteria that we presented on October 22nd. The first option that's going to be presented to you is based off of that presentation. The second option is based off of the feedback that we have heard from the board as we've talked about these programs, as the family services money and the natatorium have came up, and there's been some debate on how we want to do this program. So option one is the original program, the 1.8 million total budget, 300,000 per district, 100,000 per member, allocated based on those rules. The timeline we set forward so that we could vet these projects and get them out and keep an accounting of like how much money is being spent by each member was submit the request by the first Monday in February, which is February 3rd. Staff would review those for all those statutory requirements. We would put all of those together on a discussion item to have a consensus discussion on February 25th. We would put it into a resolution for a vote on March 11th, and the agreements would be done, and the monies would start going out throughout the year. So that was the first program that we presented. The second program, if we can go to the next slide, was take the $1.8 million, do not allocate the budget by district. And how we would handle these is on a rolling request basis. We would still take in requests as staff, vet them for the statutory compliance that we can actually spend the money on the project you're presenting forward. The individual requests would be sent to the committee for a consensus discussion that was relevant to the issue. So if it was a health and human services issue, it would go to human services. If it was a technology program, it would go to technology. If it was something that was outside of the scope of our parent committees, we would then send those to finance for those discussions, because those aren't relevant to the parent committee but would come there. They would then come to finance after the consensus was done at the parent committee. An agreement would be put together, would come to a vote at finance, and then subsequently at county board. And again, the one consistent rule across all of this, the funds have to be expended in 2025. So keeping that brief, I'm sure you have a lot of questions, but after we leave here, the goal is to have a direction for staff to go and which option you want to do. Option
Okay,
one.
so basically it's, do we want to do it by district or not by district? And if it were done by district, we also can extend the time frame.
Yes.
So
totally.
that was, yeah, so just so that that's aware. So let's see which way you guys want to go. Members A.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you, Jeremy. You know, I think the most fair and equitable is going back to option one, each district. It makes the district members work together. You're taking care of your district with that money. Again, then we'll have people pointing fingers, well, they got this, they got that. You know, we're kind of given a gift by the chair. We should kind of like just be happy and work with that. And again, I'm glad to hear, because I think a lot of us are confused who can get it and who can't get it. So we might need a little extra time. I don't want to go through the whole year, but we might come to you and say, hey, so-and-so, we want to give $25,000 to, and a week later we get that you can't. So we have to go back to the drawing board. I think that's what we're concerned about, is that just the uncertainty of who we can give it to, if they qualify, if they don't qualify. And again, I think it's fair and equitable to do it the option one. And if we need it, I don't say we're going to push it back, but if we need a little extra time, I think you're probably not going to come with all 300,000 at one time. I mean, you might be able to say, hey, this is what we have right now. We have 220,000. We want to get it approved, and we need a little bit more time on the other 80. We need another couple weeks. I mean, I think that
makes sense.
I think that's fair and equitable to everybody.
Okay, Member Desart.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you, Jeremy, for your presentation. I too prefer plan number one. And just my question, I think that would be most fair and equitable. My question is, when this was first presented, we said that December 1st we'd receive a packet, and we haven't received a packet. And then I don't know, please answer the question. Is the packet what the 501c3 fills out? So what I'm saying, my point is that it's already the end of December, so we have our 501c3s or our benefactors have one whole less month to get their packet in. How's the timing all working out? Thank you.
Yeah, so the packet was complete and ready to go out on the 1st, but after the last board meeting and this discussion, we didn't want to send this out because it was going to lay out the option one timeline and all of the stuff that went with that. But in the packet, just so you know, there will be the statutory guidelines of what the money can be spent on, a cover letter of like, hey, this is the stuff that you need to submit based off of the statutory guidelines, and then just a one-page request outlining the details of the project that you as the member would send, collecting that information from the entity that you were going to be working with.
And what does that come out? When will we get that?
You give me direction on this,
All right.
and I would say in the coming days.
Okay, and also I think this is a wonderful opportunity for us to work with our district seatmates. I think that's great. I just want to double check that it does not break OMA if we meet with our seatmates in our districts. Gotcha. Okay, perfect. That's it. Thank you so much.
And you also, if you do it that way, you do have the ability to work with another district. So if you have a larger project, you have that ability. Member Rutledge.
Thank you, Chair Conroy. I'll reiterate what Member Zay has talked about. I'd be in favor of the option one, and I know Member Schwarzy, who probably had to leave because he was probably in serious pain, definitely is on the earlier that each district will be able to expend their own funds in that district. I like to hear that we could work with other districts if we need to, but I would rather battle it out with Jim Zay and Greg Schwarzy than all of you. So I'm option one. Thank you.
Okay, all right, noted. Member Krajewski.
I'm for option one, although option one did say 300,000 per district, 100,000 per board member, so each board member has their own 100,000, at least in option one. But I'm for option one. Just real quick, the small business grants, program's still going to roll out in February?
Small nonprofit, yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, we're talking about 501c3, so we'll have another 175,000 for small, under 25, I guess, in our districts also? In
That
addition
is-
to
that
this,
is
so we got
correct.
2 of them coming? Okay, all right, so we got the 175 and the 100, well, it's option 1. All right, thank you, I'm for 1.
Okay, Member Galassi.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I am happy to hear that if we do choose option 1, that is where my preference lies, that we can have, is it true to say we can have more of a rolling approval process as opposed to the deadline? Of,
Yes.
If that's what you guys want, totally. We did that just to make sure that we had the runway. Now that this has been kind of pushed back, I think it would be smart to move the dates back, or we could do a rolling as well.
I think probably the board would prefer a rolling so that I think that makes the most sense.
Okay, perfect. That is my preference then, option 1. And I guess, this is your program, and thank you for this initiation of this idea. Could you just give your thought as to what these funds should be used for? I'm just afraid if there are other economic development initiatives that come forward that I don't want these two lines to get blurred. Like, if it's going to benefit the whole county and it's an economic development idea, should it be under this program, or is that something separate? And what do you view as the best use of these member initiative funds?
Well, I think, a lot of you are very engaged in your communities, domestic violence. I know in your district, Carrie, your leadership and Member Evans and Member Krajewski have been very engaged in the Hinsdale Lakes area. So you have ideas of things where you see the need. So, things like your YWCA in District 2, they have an amazing child care service there. Lutheran Social Services has an amazing child care service. There's so much need out there. And so, my thought was, everyone work together and have those conversations. And I think that's how we do the best work, is to work together. But also to be able to say, District 2, we were able to do this to help our community. And for your district, I think it's an important message that sometimes it connects us more to our community. Whereas, as board members, we're kind of seen at a higher level, and so we're not as connected sometimes. And so going and bringing money to Hinsdale Lake Terrace for a fabulous idea when you did the after-school tutoring was an amazing thing to do, right? So I think it's important that your individual leadership gets some acknowledgement. And so that and the relationship building is really why I felt this would be a good program, regardless if we did it district by district or overall.
Great, thank you.
Okay, Member Honig.
Thank you, Chair Conroy. I just want to first say thank you for bringing this forward, and to Jeremy and staff. I think it's an amazing program, and I think it's going to do a lot of good. I also want to kind of reiterate what Mr. Zay said with option 1. I think that is the best option, and I think that as long as we can push back the deadline a little bit and we can get that forward, and obviously, as you said, hearing back all our inputs, I think that would be a great idea. And I think this gives us the opportunity to do the most good in the county, and working, with our seatmates. I think, a little collaboration can bring a lot of people together. And I think that there's so much need, like Chair Conroy said, and going forward, I think that this is going to set a good example, and that there's needs in every single district. So I just want to thank you guys again, and that's it. Thanks.
Okay, Member Cahill.
Thank you, Jeremy, for the presentation, and thank you, Chair Conroy, for this great idea. When you brought it up, I brought it up to an intergovernmental meeting that I had some time ago, and they were very excited about this initiative in my district. So I am definitely for option 1. My question is, what about, food insecurity is such a huge thing in Bensonville, Wooddale, and Addison, and even though we're doing a lot to fund that, there's still, I keep hearing about how it's such a need. So I want to make sure that if we choose to do something like that, we're not doubling up, so to say, or losing out on future funds that would go toward food insecurity in that district. Do you have any idea about that?
No, so what I would say about that is there's a lot of food pantries in churches and so on and so forth that some of us are very connected to and engaged with. And we typically deal with the larger ones or the township. So I think there's, there are probably areas where you can really help with that. I mean, that what Elmhurst Food Pantry does. And then through some of the churches as well. So I don't think we're sadly ever going to be in a position where we have put too much money into food insecurity right now. So it's a good problem to have. Are you finished? Yes. I'm sorry. Member Ozak, just trying to get
Thank you,
everybody.
Madam Chair. Again, thank you. This is I think we can do a lot of good with this, but I have two questions. First of all, I'm in favor of the option A, but I would definitely like to keep either the individual or working together option available. And then the other question I have is so I can think of 10 501(c)(3)s right off the bat. How specific do we have to be about what they want to use it for? Because it would seem to me that an awful lot of them would just they'd be thrilled to get $5,000 that they could put toward their operating expenses. How specific is that going to be?
You have to be as specific as possible so that we can vet this in the right way. Because if they're just vague about it, we're going to come back and we're going to say no, because operating expenses.
Okay, so for
would not
instance,
work.
if they were going to do a
Mr. No.
program, they would need to, give us printing expenses, give us printing, give us outside communications. That they want that kind of specificity.
The more detail you can provide with what they want to do with the money, the more likely it's going to be that it'll meet some sort of statutory criteria.
Okay.
So I remember Member Elliott once said when he was on this board, more data good, less data bad.
Thank you. That was very succinct.
Yes. Wow. Okay. Profound words. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Member Evans.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'm finding this fascinating, this whole process. I have a question. If we feel that one of the recipients of the small nonprofit grant should also, there's one nonprofit that I think, she maxed out the 25,000 last time, and she might need another maybe 10,000 or something. Can we do that? Or is that in violation of the small nonprofit?
That's an interesting question I haven't considered. I would probably have to look at the exact fine language I put into the small nonprofit grant program.
Yeah, okay.
I'll admit I'm not prepared to answer that right now, but I can look into it.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Member Heather.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I agree with a lot of board members here. I am in favor of option 1 as well. I agree with you, Madam Chair, that us representing specific districts, we know what the needs are in our local communities, and it'll be ideal. And I'm excited to also work with my fellow seatmates, Member Covert and Member Dessart, to try and make the best use of this money. I would appreciate if you can have more clarity as to what those state standards are and really how we can truly use that money. That'd be so helpful. And it doesn't have to be right now.
No, so in the packet, you will get a very detailed, Connor's put it together, a very detailed list of what this can be used for to give you the best guidance you can so that you can give us the most detailed program that fits within the state statute.
Thank you. That'll be very helpful.
That will be in the packet.
Okay. I have Dessart and then Garcia.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I thought I was done with my first question, but based on our debate, another question rose up. So when we were talking about the rolling approvals, how would that affect the March 11th County Board meeting where we approve all of the initiatives?
So based on the direction this discussions went, it seems to me that option 1, as far as the allocation, is the clear direction, but the actual thing folks have different opinions on, or maybe there's an open or clear opinion, is do you want to approve these on a rolling basis, or do you want to have
I think, yeah. So I think
deadline?
when you gave us the two options, the second option and the timeline appears to be more of what we are liking, but the member districts seem to be so combined.
So a hybrid of
Hybrid.
1 and 2, which I had a feeling when I put that together. I was like, do I give an option 3? But
So
that
a
would be an
hybrid,
option,
so it's,
yeah.
so we're off the schedule of March 11th. And then quickly, I know this is a conversation about the member initiative program, but other people have brought up the small nonprofit program as well. So do we have any idea on a timetable for that? Because I haven't heard, and a lot of my, several of my people I want to, help out, they need to plan their programming for 2025, and the later it gets, the more it's going to move in 2026 for their programming funds. Thank you.
And I can tell you, so the last small nonprofit was very successful, very well received, and very needed. And so, as you all know, we've reserved the money, I think $1,050,000, and two more sequences of small nonprofits out of ARPA interest, which is great. We were hoping to get it done this fall, but closing out the ARPA program has taken all of our resources, but we are committed the month of January to have that small ARPA interest nonprofit up and running and have that portal open. We'll start having the meetings out there, the advertisements, but we're planning the month of January. It's just a matter of resources, and the amount of reports needed to close out ARPA has been absolutely exhaustive, and our staff has done great. We're going to meet it, but we could not bring up both programs at the same time.
I understand it. And just to clarify, I don't know how much you said it was, but it's actually $1,050,000.
$1,050,000.
Yeah, thank you.
$1,050,000.
Okay, and lastly, Member Garcia.
And I will make it quick. I'm absolutely in favor of option 1. Actually, my seatmates and I have already met this week. We've already started talking. We already have a list of who we want to help. Couple of clarification points. On this option 1, I know it's going to be a hybrid now. Will it still need to be spent by 2025?
Yes.
Okay. So the projects need
The
to be
end.
done, whatever it is, needs to be done in 2025.
Correct.
Okay. Second clarification, because we said we can give to municipalities. If they have a stormwater improvement, again, that project needs to be shovel-ready almost, so that it can be done in 2025.
It needs to be expended in 2025, so yes.
Perfect. Okay, that's what I need to know. Thank you.
Yep.
Okay, do I get everybody? Okay, so it looks like, do we have consensus to move forward with option number 1 with the change in the timeline? Okay, all in favor? Okay, great.
Thank you.
Okay, all right. Now we will move on to, do any members have any old business they want to discuss? Member Rutledge.
Thank you, Chair. I'll beg your forgiveness. 2 other things I wanted to say in addition to my presentation with environmental is, some people may think those little bread tags don't amount to much, but they collect them and they melt them down and turn them into benches and hangers and all kinds of things, and then they sell those items to support an organization that gives wheelchairs to children. So please think of those things. And then the gift cards, this year we'll be purchasing $324 billion in gift cards. So let's keep those out of the landfill as well. And if, with the chair's indulgence, I'm going to jump in new business that the NACO Legislative Conference is March 1st through the 4th. So if you think you want to go, let's start talking about that. Thank you.
Okay, Member Covert.
Thank you, Madam Chair. A few things. Question for Sheila. Do you think you could put a mason jar at your desk and we could just bring in bread tags every week? Right. Okay. I have a large mason jar. If you want that, I could bring it in for you. It's like a quart size. Okay. Okay. And then also I want to go back to our agenda. Wanted to commend Chair Ozog of Transportation of taking on this big project, and I know there was a lot of misinformation about that, but she's, I just want to commend her, you, Madam Chair, the staff, and everybody involved in making those compromises and making sure that this highway maintenance project goes through. I agree with members say that we do need more clarification, maybe another a newsletter or a publication in the newspaper, a press release to really clarify for constituents what we are doing. And then also, I want to thank you, Madam Chair, for the committee assignments. I am excited to take on Chair of Technology, and I promise Member Yu that I will take special care of it. So, and then I also want to congratulate Member Honig and Member Heather for joining us on the board. Looking forward to working with you, Member Heather, on our member initiative now that we could, meet together and not violate OMA. And then finally, just wishing everybody a happy holiday and a happy new year, and enjoy your holidays.
Okay, Member Yu.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So I can't express my gratitude enough that we were able to approve the $150,000 budget request for Family Shelter Service. I'm really proud to be a part of this board, that you guys care about domestic violence survivors, and we put our money where our mouth is. I just want to mention also that Family Shelter Service, they have a 41-bed domestic violence shelter for families, for women and their children. And I wish we could build a second domestic violence shelter. If I could have my way, I would. But so I'm just really grateful for organizations like DuPage PADS that also deal and house domestic violence survivors. What's really great about this capital improvement project is that it is increasing capacity and counseling space for these walk-in survivors who are coming in. And it's not just mental health services that they're receiving, but they're getting the counseling, they're getting case management, which means they're addressing barriers, whether that's economic, they're going to be doing safety planning to figure out if they need a go bag, what will they do in this situation, will they need to get an order of protection, they're getting court advocacy services because they may decide, I need exclusive possession of my residence, and that would mean that they wouldn't have to go to a shelter or DuPage PADS or any other kind of interim housing situation. And they also provide therapy for children who are traumatized, who have witnessed domestic violence. So for all those reasons, I'm truly thankful, and I know that Family Shelter Service really, really appreciates all of you. Thank you.
Okay. Member Garcia.
And I wanted to thank the board here for the consensus in helping DuPage PADS during the finance meeting. This is a great need that's unfortunately happening everywhere, the unhoused. I know the weather's going to be getting cold again, and I'm just so grateful for this board for seeing that the needs of our people is some of the things we should be really concentrating on. I mean, I'm looking at our agenda here today, and between, we've got the FSS, which Member Yu initiated. We've got Liberty Park, which has water coming into it. And of course, the DuPage Transportation Building, which is going to give our staff a safe place to work. We really are putting people first, and I think under your leadership, Chair Conroy, and with this board, I'm just so grateful. And again, thank you for having the vision you have, and thank you all for making the decisions you've made. Thank you.
Member Desart.
Thank you. I just wanted to reiterate that sometimes we're going to agree and sometimes we're going to disagree, but the bottom line is we all vote on how we support and what we think is the best. So I believe that lively debate is the core, the heart of good governance. And so I'm glad that we are encouraged to have lively debate here on the floor. And with that, I'd just like to wish everybody a magical Christmas, holiday season, and New Year, especially our hardworking staff. Thank you.
Okay, Member Honig.
Thank you, Chair Conroy. I just wanted to say I'm looking forward to being the co-chair of the Intergovernmental Affairs Committee and working with municipalities and addressing, just like Member Garcia talked about, there's obviously a affordable housing crisis in this county. There's homelessness. There's a lot of things that are really important. So I'm looking forward to working with this board to address all those issues. And I also want to say thank you to you for also bringing forth the Family Shelter Services. I think that was an amazing thing to do. And I just wanted to thank this board, and I'm grateful to be here. And I am always open to hearing anyone's ideas, as how I've always been as a person. So, and thank you so much for being here. So thanks.
Okay, I'm just going to tell you before I ask for new business that we do have executive session. So does anybody have any new business? No. I do have new business. Hold on. Where is it? God only knows where it is. So basically, my new business is tomorrow morning we have a staff breakfast. Everybody is welcome. Hopefully, everybody can be here for some portion of it. I think it starts at 7 a.m. So come in your best holiday fare and your biggest smiles, and we're going to really appreciate and thank the staff that makes us all look good every day. Okay, now I'm informed we do have matters before us requiring us to enter into executive session. I'll ask those. Okay.
Should we first move
and
to
I'll
adjourn?
ask those not associated with executive session to please exit the room. Okay, and I think we need to take a roll. Okay. Okay, maybe should we do? No, we'll take, guys, let's take just a short, brief break. 5 minutes.